This is the Above Average Podcast, and you are listening because you want an above average life. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Above Average Podcast, the podcast where we talk to above average people about their above average lives. So today, I have a good friend of mine, Mr. Sam Gibson, an emotional eating coach and past personal trainer.
Former personal trainer.
Former
yes.
personal trainer. I couldn't think of the word, but yes, mate. Welcome to the show, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm great, Adam. How are you, mate?
Fantastic. Very good, mate. I actually, to be fair, I'm going to admit to everyone, I had a bit of a rough start in the morning, mate. Every morning I have 4 eggs in one of them egg poaching pans, and I melted the pan. I melted the little plastic egg cups. So I was like raging when I woke up this morning. I was like, fuck, because I was thinking about this coming out here, and I was like, fuck, I've just melted my entire breakfast. But we live and learn. So the first thing I want to ask you about, Sam, is your title as an emotional eating coach.
Yes.
So a lot of people probably hear that term and go, what the fuck is an emotional eating coach?
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
can you explain to me what the fuck an emotional eating coach is?
Yeah, so you'd be very right to have that perception of an emotional eating coach, because it's something that's, I would say, under the radar within the fitness industry. It's almost like a little side niche within the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what an emotional eater is anyone who struggles with yo-yo dieting habits, people who maybe lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back. They're kind of on that merry-go-round of eating healthy, falling off track, eating healthy, falling off track. Or people who maybe do have diagnosed eating disorders such as bulimia, anorexia, binge eating disorder.
Yeah.
They kind of fall into that category as well. Essentially, anyone who wants to lose weight and eat healthier but can't seem to manage it, I would somewhat class them as an emotional eater.
Right,
you know?
interesting, yeah.
And I guess my coaching, the way that I coach people, that I help people, that I educate people, is on educating them around the reasons why they can't, stick to a healthy diet.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what emotional eating coaching is. A bit,
Yeah.
of the mindset, a bit of the actual habits as well. Get my clients to obviously eat better, train better, have better habits, just like you would in the fitness industry if you're a personal trainer.
Yeah.
But then attaching this like deeper level mindset to it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do.
Well, it's funny because we talked when, obviously I came to see you speak in Newcastle and stuff, and we talked about, like, you were saying that a lot of personal trainers are telling people to get their diets in order and, like, just eat better and stuff like that. But then there's this other side of it, this behind the scenes thing that's running them secretly. So can you talk a little bit about how you discovered that? Like, did you go through that yourself, I'm assuming? Like, what's your background in that?
Absolutely. So I guess what got me on this journey of wanting to help people with emotional eating was because I was an emotional eater myself. And I did have, in hindsight, looking back, I wasn't diagnosed, but that was because I was bottling it up, hiding it from the world, hiding it from myself. But I struggled with, I guess it would be categorized as bulimia, where I'd go on this this extreme fad diet, and I was in great shape, because I was a personal trainer. I'd done bodybuilding competitions, photo shoots, that sort of stuff. So I knew what to do to get in great shape, but I was kind of hiding this eating disorder where I would go on these extreme diets for weeks or months on end, and then when the competition was over or the photo shoot was over, or when I just decided to quit because it was too difficult, I'd end up going the other way and binging completely and not being able to stick to my word about how I wanted to eat. And then I'd gain massive amounts of weight. Like I remember in 2018, I talked about this in my show that I'd done, the speaking gig. I gained 30 pounds in 5 days after a bodybuilding show.
That's mad.
It is mad. And I spent like 5 days in bed feeling depressed because I didn't win the show. Feeling depressed.
All that work and see, like, fuck.
Basically, yeah. So I was putting my entire mood, and this is how dangerous this can be when you put your entire self-worth on a pedestal about achieving some sort of external thing that you're not actually in control of. It's bodybuilding. I mean, I'm not into it anymore. But at the time, it was my entire life. It was my entire identity. And I kind of perceived, well, if I win this show, if I get the accolades of the trophy, then all of this pain I've been going through is worth it. But that it's a subjective sport, meaning that it's down to someone else's opinion. So no matter what you do, it might not be good enough to win the show. So I realized how dangerous that was. And because I was getting so obsessed with it to literally neurotic levels, my self-worth was on this pedestal of I must win this show, I must be the best, I must look this way. And when I didn't get the results that I desired, my entire world caved in, crumbled. And that's how dangerous it is to put your self-worth on your image, on your physical image, because it's only something you can impact. It's not necessarily something you can control.
I like that, yeah.
And I realized the drive and the unconscious thoughts behind that was driving my overeating and restrictive behaviors when it came to food was anxiety. So it was anxiety, not feeling good enough. So wanting to kind of perpetuate this image of I'm the guy in shape, I'm the guy who's got the six pack, I'm the bodybuilder, putting on this kind of like tough man image, if you like. But that was to run away from how anxious I felt.
Yeah.
But then when anxiety became too hard to handle, I would use food to control the anxiety. So I was in this catch-22 rock hard situation where no matter how hard I tried, eventually my anxiety would get the better of me. I'd binge on food to make myself feel better, but in doing so, I would destroy the results that I set out for myself, which I was attaching my self-worth to. So it was this self-fulfilling prophecy, if you like. And because I experienced all of that, and then done a lot of mindset work, personal development work on myself to understand why I was feeling like that, why I was anxious, why I was depressed, why I was masking that with my physical body as an attempt to run away from that, emotional pain. I realized that, wow, other people do this as well, because the same clients who I was helping, years later, were also telling me the same things, the same feelings, the same problems, and they were ultimately getting the same results as me. They were getting results, losing weight, gaining it all back, getting results, losing weight, gaining it all back. So the more and more I researched into it, I found that 90% of people who actually attempt to lose weight worldwide gain it all back in 12 months or less.
90%?
90%, yeah, according to a study from Marshall S. Runge, which I believe is a professor from the University of Harvard. This was done in 2017, when they kind of done an analysis on diet culture and, the things that people will follow in an attempt to lose quick weight. It doesn't work, so 9 times out of 10, if you try and lose weight, you'll fail. You'll either get the result and then gain it back, or you'll just not be able to stick to it because it was an extreme method.
Well, that's the thing. I think it comes with obviously working in a gym here and stuff. You see that like people go through these all or nothing phases where they're 100% like they eat like it's like chicken, rice, and broccoli. That's all they eat for like months, right? And then eventually it becomes way too much to handle. It's not sustainable. It doesn't benefit their lifestyle. They're more miserable than they were before. And then what happens? They break that cycle. They go back to the way they were, and they put all that weight back on. It's just this endless like. It is about what's maintainable as well. And
Absolutely.
like you look at these bodybuilders and you think, oh, that's like incredible amount of muscle, and it looks amazing on stage, but you forget how much discipline and how taxing that actually is on the body, because most bodybuilders on the day of the show feel like absolute shit.
Yeah,
they feel like shit because they're dehydrated, they haven't had carbs for God knows how long, and it's like they're just miserable, angry, ratty bastards. It's So take me back to when you were doing the competition. What position did you come in? Do you remember?
I came third in both of the shows that I did. Yeah, one of them only had 3 people in as well, so technically last.
Well, we're gonna say third, but how did that feel though after all that effort? Because you see a lot of people will rarely go through that amount of work for something. So tell me how you felt about when you heard that announcement. You're like, all that work, and like,
it was horrendous, especially the first show that I did, because I had people there who were like, yeah, Sam, you should have won. And still looking back now, I don't necessarily believe I should have won. Because there was certainly guys who are a little bit more in shape than me. Yeah. But I was the biggest, I had the best shape. And there was people saying like, yeah, I think you should have won. And when I found out the guys who came first and second before me, they were the guys who went to the judge's gym. So the judge owned a gym and they were his guys.
Wow, so you think it was
that
like a...
did piss me off. I mean, in hindsight, I look back and think, actually, I think I'd probably deserve that space. But because I had people in my circle that time saying, yeah, Sam, this guy... Yeah. This gym owner, or this judge rather, he owns the gym, and the guys who came before you, they got first and second because of that. Obviously, in that moment when I'm a very heartbroken that all that effort that I put into didn't really pay off, or what I perceived didn't pay off, it just made me very angry.
Yeah, it's also like a betrayal though as well when you think about it. It's like, well, you're a judge, you're supposed to be impartial, you're not supposed to know the people that are in it. Like,
but here's the thing, Adam, that's the game. If you pick to do bodybuilding, it's a subjective sport. It's not tangible. Like, let's say Usain Bolt running a 100-meter sprint. Yeah. Who wins, who crosses the finish line, it's tangible. It's fact. Yeah. He comes before it. They can see via the naked eye, or they can see via the slow motion cameras. It's tangible. Yeah. It's objective. You know what I mean? Whereas something like bodybuilding, it's essentially a pageant, right?
It's subjective, yeah.
It's subjective. So there is no right and wrong. So it's all about hearsay and opinions. So how dangerous is that, putting your entire identity on the opinions of others? So when I look back now, I realise that it's just a dangerous thing to get into, especially if you suffer with low body image, previous eating disorders, or low self-worth. And I was using the whole bodybuilding, I'm a big bodybuilder, and I'm in shape, and I'm looking like this, as a way to run away from my own insecurities. Yeah. So it was like pouring petrol on the fire, adding fuel to the fire. Yeah. So for me, I'm not actually bothered about losing now. Like, I don't necessarily care because I'm kind of over it. And I realised that was more of a reflection of my insecurities and my beliefs rather than reality in front of me.
Yeah.
Because, again, I'm being judged based off not what I'm doing in that moment, of someone's opinion. So how dangerous is that anyway? So I could have generally looked the best,
Yeah.
and still lost, or I could have looked the worst but still won, depending on
whatever they were feeling that day. Yeah.
So,
which is bad. Like, we look at like a lot of things on social media as well. Social media is probably one of the things that fucks up mental health, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But I think for a lot of people, like me, I'm not a tall guy. I'm not a broad guy. I was naturally skinny growing up. Like, and for me, I'm still like, I go to the gym and I'm like, I am like 3 times the size I was when I started. And then some dude will come next to me, and he's like huge. Like, he's just a monster. He's like the monster from like Game of Thrones. No, not the monster. What's he called? The mountain from Game of Thrones. He's like fucking huge. And it's just like, I'm like, oh shit. But then I have a moment where I go, okay, well, I can use this guy as, well, I'm not good enough. I feel shit. I need to be that to be attractive, or I need to be that way to, you know, have my self-worth, my ego validated. Or I can be like, you know what? That dude's clearly put the fucking work in, deserves it. I'm going to model whatever he's doing and get even better than I am. And I think that's what most people struggle with, is this comparison mindset, this comparisonitis and stuff like that. Like, were you on Instagram and stuff around the time of bodybuilding? Were you looking at all these people going, fuck, I need this ab, fuck, I need these obliques coming through? Like,
that's exactly what I was doing, Adam. And imagine this scenario. This is not a hypothetical scenario. This is a real experience of mine. The morning of the show, I needed to be on one of the shows I'd done. I wanted to enter the under 85 kilo class, which I would have been the biggest guy in the class and probably would have won. But because I wasn't able to stick to my diet fully, I was like 2 or 3 kilos over. Right. So on the morning of the show, I genuinely felt suicidal because I didn't make the weight class, and I knew I had to enter the bigger one. So I knew I was going to get smoked.
Shit.
So, and that was all because of comparison. I should look like this. I should be this weight. I should look like these guys. So because of this comparison, because of social media, I was creating so much anxiety, therefore putting so much pressure on myself, which was just, again, adding fuel to the fire, and I couldn't handle it mentally. At the time, I wasn't that strong, and I had that very all or nothing mindset.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as say I had a bit of a victim complex at that time, because behind the scenes, and I think the reason why I was actually distracting myself with the bodybuilding at the time was because of my personal life at the time. I was all over the place. Dysfunctional relationship with my parents. I blamed them for a lot of things. Isolated myself from them. Didn't speak to them, even though I was living in the same house at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't speak to them. Horrible dysfunctional relationship. Wasn't getting on with my partner at the time. I was just totally distant. I was a zombie.
Yeah.
I wasn't meeting our needs. I wasn't prioritizing the relationship. Isolated myself from all my friends, because my friends used to take the piss a little bit, about the bodybuilding thing.
Yeah, they do.
You were essentially on stage in a blue thong, and fake tan. I can see now why they were taking the piss, but at the time, I took it really personally. So I had a lot of hate and resentment, and I was unemployed at the time as well, so I had nothing to focus on. I was in debt. I was paying for this bodybuilding thing through credit cards, to be honest, and whatever money I could muster up. I didn't have any money, no savings, in debt, and living in my overdraft, credit cards. It wasn't a nice place to be. So the place where I was at in my personal life was just reflecting in my bodybuilding as well. So it was just a complete wrong thing to do. And I say now it was more of a distraction than a passion. It wasn't really a passion; it was a distraction. So yeah, it was. I
think that's actually the thing for most people, though.
It is.
A lot of people live lives of distraction rather than passion. It's like everything that we do is just to distract. Like, you can be like, oh, well, I love to watch movies and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, I love to watch movies, but it's still a distraction. Like, there's other stuff that you could probably address more so. There's other stuff that you could be doing other than Netflix and chill or doing whatever. It's like, when you really find a passion, you'll know, because there's very little stress in it.
Yeah. It feels like you're in flow state.
Yeah.
I wasn't in flow state. Everything felt forced to be able to do that because it was coming from insecurity, a drive to escape my emotional voids rather than living this, authentic, aligned life with your true values and your true passions. So that I don't hold any resentment towards the whole bodybuilding thing. And like I say, the judges, I should have won and whatever. That's open for debate. I'm actually not too concerned about that now, because I knew that was a lesson that I needed to go through in my life. And I'm almost glad it happened, even though it was a very dark place, and especially post-show. I mean, I don't know if you've had any bodybuilders on before, you've spoke to people, but post-show, after the thing's done, the event's done, the adrenaline dump you get, the come down you get, the emotional, all the emotions that you've been kind of like suppressing because you're just tunnel vision like a robot for this show, it all comes flooding to the surface.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to deal with. And I think unless you've got a very strong, resilient mindset, or you have a passion for it, like you said, which I clearly didn't, it was a distraction, it's a dangerous thing to do. And
But you were using it to fuel something else within.
Yeah.
So yeah, but loads of people do that. And I mean, when I first started going to the gym, right, I'm thinking back to when I first started going to the gym. I was like, I just turned 18. And I remember the first day I went in, I had this really tough Geordie bloke called Paul, right? I love him, right? He's class. And he was like, all right, let's take you through see where you're at, kind of thing. And we had this, one of the bars, the 20 kilogram bars, and I couldn't lift it. I just couldn't pick it up. I didn't have the form. I didn't have the strength in my arms or anything. And I remember the reason I started to go is because I'd not long been dumped by I think I was with her for like 8 months or something. And then we were at a party, and I found out that she was seeing some other guy, like pretty much like within like a short space of time. And this dude was like, he wasn't like jacked, but he was like really big.
More jacked.
And I was and I was like, fuck, like I'm sick of being the small one. There's always someone bigger, and it wasn't insecurity. You know what I mean? I'll hold my hands up and say it was insecurity. So I started training, but then the funny thing was I would train with such intensity, and I'd be like, I was one of those guys that walked to the gym, hood up, motivational tapes on, Les Brown shouting at me, Eric Thomas is giving me speeches and stuff like that, and I'm like getting there and I'm pumping myself up and getting angry and getting these getting okay results for such a skinny guy. But then I was like burning out, and I was getting ready to go to the gym in the morning, and I was retching. I was like, because the anxiety was like too much. I was like, I don't want to lift anything. So I had to take a step back, and then I was like, what other reasons? What's my why for why I'm doing this? I think it was a book by Simon Sinek that changed my mindset on this. I think it's Start With Why. And he talks about literally the reason why you do something is like key to anything. So when me and Sam here are talking about, distractions and whatever else, if you're doing something, find out why you do it. Don't just say, well, I'm doing this because it sounds cool or this. It's like, it might be, but you need to look below the surface and kind of see what's running me, what insecurity is going on, why do I feel the need to do this, why do I feel like I have to do this, and there's a lot more to human psychology than people think. And I know me and you love human psychology, especially evolutionary psychology.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Since my last bodybuilding show in 2018, that's when I kind of had like my epiphany. Yeah, so it was about a week before the show. I believe the last show I'd done was like the 1st of April. So I still remember the date now, 23rd of March 2018. The darkest day of my life, but also the day that set me free, because that's when I had this that awakening, that epiphany moment that I'm sure everyone's had in their life when you've been rock bottom, and then because you're rock bottom, pain becomes a motivator.
Yeah.
When you reach that point, pain can become a powerful motivator, and you'll avoid it until you become so painful. So I was avoiding all these insecurities and the holes in my life, the fact I was unemployed. I had a university degree. I got 2 university degrees. Wasn't doing anything with it. My relationship was on the rocks. I had a totally dysfunctional relationship with my parents. I was isolated from my friends. I had all these gaping holes in my life, and I was just distracting myself with this bodybuilding show. And I think at the time I convinced myself that if I won this show, I'd somehow get a job. I'd be a successful personal trainer.
Yeah.
I even think I had fantasies of thinking My Protein would sponsor me as an athlete or something. I genuinely had these delusions or these fantasies in my mind about, if I just win this show, everything will be all right. And I realised that wasn't coming.
Yeah.
So when I realised that wasn't coming, I remember feeling so anxious, and I did struggle with panic attacks at the time. And I remember I had this panic attack about 4 a.m. in my room, just woke up in complete terror, my heart beating so fast, thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I just had to leave the house. And when I left the house, I was just like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was planning on doing, but I was going to leave the house and not come back. And whatever, I figured it out at the time. It was more like a moment of madness, like an anger thing.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. But on that walk, it was like just walking around 4 or 5 o'clock, pissing down South Shields right next to KFC.
Yeah.
In South Shields. I don't know if you've ever seen The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Do you know when he escapes from prison and he's just
shoveling
on
through
his knees
shit,
and he just looks on the ground in the air and just he has that moment of release.
Yeah.
Well, I almost had that moment when I realised I just need to stop this bodybuilding thing. I need to get control of my life. I need to stop blaming other people. And it was this hybrid of complete anger, resentment, rage, depression, anxiety, but also nobody's coming to save you, Sam.
Yeah.
And it was this complete moment of madness where I left the house thinking I'm done, I'm not coming back, versus this is down to me. So I just had this completely emotionally freeing moment where I'm on my hands and knees in the middle of South Shields at 4:30 in the morning, pissing down with rain. I'm screaming to the sky. It was weird to even think about it, but that's where I was at the time. And in that moment, I remember just having this level of clarity, after the show next week, because I already paid for it, already committed to it.
Yeah.
I need to sort my shit out.
Yeah.
I need to get a job. I need to stop running away from this relationship thing with my parent.
Yeah.
I've got these skills, I've got these tools that I can give the world, and I'm not doing it. So I need to stop focusing on me and start focusing on other people.
Yes.
In that moment, I was clear.
Yeah.
I did the show, I went on holiday.
Yeah.
I was still struggling with a few things at the time because I didn't know where I was going to take my life, so I was incredibly anxious and nervous. So I was eating and drinking a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But I came back from that holiday in about end of April, and ever since that day, I've never stopped, Adam. I've never stopped posting on social media. I've never stopped putting myself out there.
You're one of the most relentless people I've seen, to be fair.
That's definitely one of the skills, the positive skills that I learned from bodybuilding, was that ability to be relentless and disciplined no matter what. So there's definitely pros to going through that part of my life, and I just transferred that into helping other people. And since then, I've built a successful business. I've prioritized mindset and personal development.
Yeah.
And it was actually it was a video from Jordan Peterson that kind of inspired me to take this pivot, stop focusing on myself and start focusing on others. So like I said, I was crippled with anxiety at the time, and this bodybuilding thing wasn't helping, and I finally realized that. I knew I needed to stop doing it and change, but I didn't know where.
Yeah.
And I seen a video on Jordan Peterson talking about anxiety, and he said something that I'll remember forever. It was, anxiety only affects people with a high creative intellect who are not being creative enough.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was just like, shit, I'm not being creative at all. All I'm doing is focusing on how many calories I eat this day. All I'm doing is going to the gym, taking photos, comparing myself to others. I've got a brain, and I know I do. I've got a very critical, problem-solving, strategic mind, and I'm not applying it. What could I do if I used this creative skill? Who could I help? How could I create a business from that? How can I make it about other people and not just me? Because making things just about you, it's somewhat narcissistic. It really is.
Yeah. It's when, see, anything that you do for yourself, there's always that little bit of lack. There's always a little bit of like, this isn't quite hitting the spot.
Is this it? Is this all it is? Yeah.
Is this all it is? It's just me. But you forget that other people can benefit from your shit. And actually, I want to backtrack because you said something really interesting. You said, I didn't want to live anymore or something like that. You just said before, right?
It was,
but
I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to live this life. And that was
that's
I realized.
That's the key. So it's like, it's a lot of people say that I don't want to live anymore, but it's like, no, the truth is you don't want to live like this anymore.
That's it.
Because there's a lot more of what you can do than you are currently doing. Like if you I made a video about this a few years back, and I was talking about how much freedom people actually have these days is mind blowing compared to, say, our grandparents' generation, right? Or even the generation
people
before.
in North Korea right now.
Yeah, who are just do you know what I mean? And like the amount of freedom, like I could literally quit my job, and I could get a visa, and I'll go live in fucking Paris and start a whole new life. I could do that. Like anyone probably could do it. You save a bit of money, you go, you fuck off. You get a one-way ticket, and you go there, and you start a new job. You work in a cafe in Paris. Like,
yeah, we've got options for that.
Yeah. But like most people, it's so blinkered. It's like, no, this is how life is. This is how it's always been. And it's like they can't see this world of opportunity out there. Like, have you ever experienced that with your clients? Well, they can't see that other world that's out there. Like,
absolutely. And I guess that's the first, when I take my clients through the consultation phase, to get them to say, right, you're struggling with your eating habits, you're struggling with your body, you're struggling with your mental health. Okay, let's put a pin in that for now. That's the symptom. What's the root cause? Mm-hmm. And when I get them to start thinking of the root cause, we start looking at all these voids in their life. Relationships are all over the place, Adam. Mm-hmm. They hate their job. They've got a dysfunctional relationship with their job. Yeah, they've got no hobbies. They've got no life outside of work. They've got no life outside of being a mum, being a dad. And I'm not saying they're not important things. I'm just saying you have to express yourself as an individual and be creative in order to feel fully aligned with who you could be, who you really are. And I think when people get so bogged down in the day-to-day, the tunnel vision, we just, like I say, we'll become so focused on just the instant gratification, the things in front of us, and we'll miss out on all this freedom in our peripheral vision, if you like.
Yeah.
And like I said at the time, the reason I was depressed because I was massively disconnected with a few emotional voids, some traumas from the past that I'd never really accepted. We can definitely talk about, the things that men experience, especially young men in today's day and age. I think a lot of young men are lost without purpose. I was absolutely there. Yeah. And I think when men are lost and without purpose, we get angry, we get resentful. Mm-hmm. We will not take that out on other people, essentially, but it'll come across in maybe passive-aggressive ways, but we'll take it out on ourselves and we'll beat ourselves up, and we'll have this horrendous...
Don't you worry, we've got plenty mental health questions coming up as well. I do want to say, though, you mentioned there was a great quote, and I can never remember it spot on, so I'm not going to do it just... It's what depression actually means. Yeah. You talked about this in your speech ahead with. What was the quote?
I believe it is, what if depression is actually a form of grief for our lives not being as they should?
That's fucking powerful, though, isn't it?
It is.
It's fucking powerful.
Got me thinking.
Yeah, because we all have this idea in our heads of what our life should look like or what it could look like. Yeah, we have expectations, but the truth is most people will never get anywhere close to that because they don't do the action. They just have this, it's like there's such a big gap between where they are now and where they see.
It's basically a fantasy.
Yeah,
but it's a fantasy with no substance if you're not taking the actions.
Exactly. Without the actions, without those little steps, it's like it might as well just be a dream. Like you have to do that.
That's why I was depressed. And in that moment when I was like, had that moment of madness where I'm like, I'm going to leave the house and I want to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On that walk when I'm so angry and resentful and just so sad and so depressed in that moment, and I was an emotional wreck, I asked myself those questions like, what am I actually in control of here? What am I actually doing that I know I should be doing? And I was doing none of it. So how dare I say I was depressed and that everything was against me and I was so unlucky? Because that's what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's against us. Nobody understands me. The whole poor me complex. That's what I was doing, Adam. And I couldn't see, the wood for the trees, so to speak. I couldn't see the truth because I was so wrapped up in my own pain, which was very real. I will admit that. I'll never invalidate people's emotions. How you feel is how you feel, but there's always a root cause for how you feel. And you've got to think critically about it. When I realised, am I meeting my partner's needs in this relationship who I claim to love? No. Am I even attempting to mend this dysfunctional relationship with my parents? No. Do I even have any friends on paper and on social media? Yes. But do I see them? No. Do I have any hobbies outside of going to the gym and being so insecure and beating myself up and using that as a driving factor for my motivation to exercise? I didn't exercise because I loved it. I exercised because I hated myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not being creative. I've got no job. I've got no purpose. It doesn't matter if I win this bodybuilding show. What's my life is completely in disarray.
There's still got to be something afterwards. So it's not like you win that. It's not like you go through this competition and then everything's
I kind of made it. It's a little bit dark to say this, but this is my perception at the time. I kind of made a little bet with myself, a little kind of like what's the word? A little ultimatum with myself. It was like, right, go away and live your purpose. Try and become a personal trainer, because I was a qualified one, but I just wasn't working at the time. I just wasn't doing it. Put your all into a personal trainer, focus on your relationship, work on your mindset, and if things are still shit in a year time, maybe think about killing yourself then. That's literally what I was talking about. But I realised in that moment I had no right to say, oh, this is it, I'm done, because I wasn't trying.
Just when you said that to yourself, did you ever think that maybe that could be very useful in terms of a motivating factor? Like imagine if someone said to you, you have a year to do this thing, or I'm gonna fucking shoot you through the brain.
That's leverage, isn't it?
You would do it, but I mean, obviously, I wouldn't say that's a healthy mindset to have, but you could twist that around in some capacity. You could say to yourself, like, I'm giving myself a year,
but it got me started.
Interesting.
Got me started. So, yeah, it was a case of saying, well, and I think the reason why I actually had that, very morbid, I will admit, a very morbid perception. And certainly not a healthy one, but the reason it got me started was because the fear of death was actually scarier than the fear of just doing the things I was avoiding.
100%.
And when I realised that, I was like, I don't actually want to die. I don't want to die. I'm fucking crippled with anxiety right now, and the thought of this as being it is like depressing me so much. So I don't want to die. That was a moment of madness. That wasn't real. It was just an angry reaction. It was a knee-jerk reaction to my pain, right? It's actually a fear of not living life on my terms that I'm more scared of, not dying. So it was the fear of not reaching my potential that was actually depressing me, not death. So when I realised that, well, if I just focus on reaching my potential, because now I realise I actually don't want to die, I just don't want to live this life, everything just became clear, and it was like, nobody's coming to save you. Because I generally thought there would be. I thought there was going to be a job that was going to fall on my lap. I thought, my parents would just validate me and accept me and whatever, and I thought that people would just love me and respect me for who I was, and I realised that that doesn't work, especially for a man.
Yeah.
Men are loved and respected conditionally, based off how useful we are, how much we help people, and how much we make a difference in the world. I wasn't doing any of that, Adam, so no wonder I wasn't getting the love and respect that I thought I deserved, because I wasn't giving it to myself. So I had to tick those boxes first before I even contemplated, I'm depressed and this is it. And that thought's not really entered my mind since, because now I know the real root causes for depression, and it's mainly environmental. And if those voids are left unopened, you're going to feel somewhat depressed, because you're a human and you're an animal responding to your environment. That's what we do. So depression is often a symptom of us responding to our environment. Like I've told, I don't know if I said it in my show, but I've told this story to my clients. I went to Flamingo Land in like 1999 with my family. I remember being like 5 years old.
Right.
And at the time they had this polar bear there, which is pretty crazy thinking the polar bear in a zoo.
Yeah.
But they had this polar bear in a what's the word? It wasn't a cage, it was more
like an enclosure.
An enclosure. It was no bigger than this room, Adam. And all it was doing is pacing back and forward all over. Looks depressed. And I remember saying to my grandma at the time, she was there, I was like, what's wrong with the polar bear, Grandma? And she went, oh, I feel sorry for him, he's depressed. I remember saying, like, what does that mean? What's depressed mean? I was a 5-year-old kid, I didn't know what that was. And she said, oh, he's really sad. That's what she said. But now looking at that, I think, yeah, the polar bear was depressed because he's not in his natural environment. Yeah. He's isolated. He's generally got no purpose other than waiting for his keepers to feed him 2 or 3 times a day. And he's completely disconnected from the life he's supposed to be living.
Yeah.
So no wonder he's depressed. Humans are very much like that. When we are disconnected from the life that we are supposed to be living, we get depressed.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, there will be a very logical reason linked to your environment and the way you're living your life as to why you feel so depressed.
It's like when I do these videos, I made videos and stuff on YouTube for like six, probably going on 7 years, and especially now starting this podcast and stuff. Like, I get moments of clarity when I haven't got a video lined up or an idea or something going on. I get this moment where it feels like a break in the chain, and I start to notice myself getting more moody, more ratty. I get snappy. I get what's the point kind of attitude seeps in. And it's like, yeah, because this is what I'm meant to do. If I'm not organizing this, like, it's not something that just comes naturally all the time. It's something that you have to work on, something you have to schedule in, plan in, especially like, but for the most part, it's easier to stay as a victim because you get sympathy, right? Like,
It's comfortable.
My favorite place to go when I want to see how shit some people's mindset is local residence pages on Facebook. Are you connected to any of those? Are you South Shields residents? No.
Nah, I used to be. I've what's the word? I've done a spring clean of my social media the past few years. Anyone who I see complains or rants about like mundane stuff, it's not personal. It's not personal to them. It's about me and just managing what comes into my life. I just unfollow them.
I'm only in a few because I sell a lot of shit. But I love reading the comments and I don't let them get to me. I've read enough now. I'm just like, I feel sorry for you. Like, people moan about bins not being collected. Someone's dog poos like outside the drive or something, or there's like a crisp wrapper's blown in the hedge, and it's like, fuck me. Like, have you got nothing better to talk about in your life than to go, oh, let's talk about this in the residence page on Facebook, and then fucking Susan from down the road chimes in, it's disgraceful, isn't it? And then there's just this barrage of like people agreeing with you and stuff. But it's the same when you post your problems.
Yeah.
Like, you post a problem to social media, right? How many likes and comments and attention do you get from that one update?
Misery loves miserable company. That's
exactly
what it comes down to.
But then you post a great picture of something you worked so hard for. People don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
People don't give a fuck.
Right, mate. And I think I posted it the other day. I know you liked it. I was just again a moment of clarity when I always analyse myself and my past behaviours. And I'll just say this right now: all the advice and the things I give my clients that I post online, it's either something I've done myself or something I'm currently doing myself that I perceive as beneficial for other people. I'm not going to sit here and give unsolicited advice. Every piece of advice or statement that I give, it's because I've analysed myself deeply and critically thought about it, and this works for me. And I'll put it out there just in the hope that someone resonates with it. I don't expect everyone does, but I seem to get a lot of success with that. So the other day I posted saying, back when I was depressed, 2017-18, I had no incentive to solve the real problems in my life, but I would focus obsessively on the problems of the world. Politics, what was wrong with the governments, this person, that person, this ideology. I complain about this, complain about that. If you go back on my Facebook from 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was the guy who was angry ranting. I sometimes see memories on my phone. I delete them because I'm like, fucking hell, I don't even want people to see that.
Someone will find it and go back and
shit,
like cancel your ass.
Exactly. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the hell was I arguing about today? And I look back now and it's like, yeah, because I had nothing going on in my life. I had no purpose. I was allowing my problems to just become open and wasn't solving them. And they were stacking up. So a form of distraction that all humans do, we'll point the finger and we'll complain about the weather, the politics, the bit of dog turd outside our drive.
It's fucking
like,
mad.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't complain about that and let someone get away with that because it's a bit of disrespectful. But what I'm saying is if generally something as mundane and surface level as that emotionally charges you so much to where it can make you have a mood for the day.
It's crazy.
That's dangerous because that means you're not living by your higher purpose. Because if you're living by your higher purpose, you don't have fucking time to complain about the shit in your drive. You don't have time. It doesn't even enter your vocabulary. You're so focused on your mission. So like what you said before, when you start to get a little bit down in the dumps, and sometimes that happens to me, I'll analyse myself and I'm like,
we're only human.
What am I not doing? I'm like, I haven't exercised this week. I said I was going to make 2 social media posts today. I did fuck all. I said I was going to get up at 6 a.m. and go to the coffee shop. I snoozed my alarm till 8. Not a coincidence that my mood's impacted. So now I know there's like 9 times out of 10, the reason I'll feel somewhat depressed or even anxious will be because I've left something unchecked that should have been checked. And then the little times when I'm doing everything right and I'm like, I'm managing everything, I still feel a bit crap. that's when I think, right, there's something deeper going on maybe. And there has been times the last few years I've hired therapists and mindset coaches, and I've talked about some stuff, and that's kind of brought up some traumas from the past that were unconsciously driving my behaviors, and I've had to go a little bit deeper, so kind of anyone listening for this right now, if you currently feel depressed or anxious, until you kind of diagnose yourself as, I'm depressed and I'm this, I'm that, ask yourself, what's your nutrition like, what's your purpose like, what's your relationship with your job like, how connected are you with your friends, what are your daily habits, what are you doing outside of work, and if you can hand on heart look at yourself and analyze yourself and say, you know what, I'm doing everything in my power for my life to be in the forwardly direction that I wanted to be as far as my expectations, but I still feel depressed, that's when you need to go with therapist, a doctor, or whatever. 9 times out of 10 though, most people will go, actually I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing this, and you need to focus on that, double down on that first before you tell yourself there's nothing I can do, it's my brain,
give us some pills.
Because it's even been proved now, and anyone listening, I highly recommend you studying the work or even reading the book of Johann Hari. I talked about him a lot in my speaking gig that we put on Adam, and he done an extensive analysis on all the literature out there when it came to depression, and he put this book out in I believe 2020 called Lost Connections, and I utilize a lot of this in my coaching program because it translates perfectly with people who struggle with their eating habits. And he says there's only about, from the studies he'd done, a cross analysis of all the literature on the brain chemistry and the serotonin and all that sort of stuff, there's 9 causes of depression, right? 9 root causes. Only 2 of them are biological. So most people who are diagnosed with depression and given pills, there's about 67% of people who don't have a pre-genetic condition. It's all environmental. About 33% of people it will run in their family. They will have some sort of genetic predisposition. But even then, Adam, the environment has to impact the host, the human, for the brain chemistry to change. Brain chemistry doesn't change spontaneously. It's a reflection of the environment.
Exactly.
So even people with a diagnosed mental health condition with predetermined genetic factors that might amplify that, it still has to be turned on by the environment. This is not me saying this is what I learned from the literature that Johann Hari put out.
It's science as well.
And that's very much under the surface now. It's fairly new. As of 2020, this is new information. In the NHS websites, any doctor you go to, they'll not have that information. They'll be running off the 90s studies, which was depression's a chemical imbalance and you need to take serotonin inhibitors to make it better. That's very much outdated. It's an old stance, and it's not actually true. There's an element of it that's true, and I think pills for depression and anxiety and whatnot that can be life-saving, but they're short-term solutions. They're short-term just to get people through the worst, and the idea is you're supposed to look at these environmental voids and say, you know what's actually missing in my life? Because if you live your life between your expectations up here, this is what I want your life to be, these are the things you think you should have or that you deserve or that you really want, but then your reality's down there, that's a huge void. And you will be creating real-time trauma when you live in that void in the form of dysfunctional habits, dysfunctional behaviors, dysfunctional relationships. So you'll be perpetuating this trauma cycle and widening the gap between your reality and your expectations. The bigger that void, the more depressed you are likely to be. So the way we need to treat people with depression and mental health issues is to maybe medicate them if they qualify for it, but also say, right, where's your reality? It's there. Where's your expectations? It's there. You see that gap? How can we work on maybe lowering your expectations, because there will be some unrealistic things that we are fantasizing about, like I was. How can we lower that a little bit? But how can we upgrade your reality by upgrading your behaviors, your strategies, your discipline, your problem-solving abilities, your strategy for your life? And when you close that gap, you start to feel less depressed. So that's my theory on mental health. It worked for me. It's worked for hundreds of people that I've coached personally on this.
I would agree. It's like when you speak to someone who has depression or suffers from depression, because obviously we've got to watch the language. You can't just say it's my depression, it's my anxiety, because whatever you perceive to be yours, you don't want to let go of.
Perception's reality, pretty much.
Whatever you believe, we talk about this as well. Like whatever you believe, it's gonna play a part in your life and stuff like that. Like, obviously we say a lot of depression, obviously environment, but it's like people don't want to admit that they could be a factor in their mental health problems. It's like it's happening to me. It's my problem. It's the world hates me. I was born this way. There's nothing I do to change. It's like take some responsibility, and it's hard. I understand if you are in a rock bottom place, it is fucking hard to even just want to get up and move or walk. But baby step it, man. No one's saying you have to be a bodybuilder. No one's saying you have to, eat chicken, rice, and broccoli every day to be healthy or whatever. You can go and eat, have a fucking Cinnabon or something. I love Cinnabons, right? But if you are not watching what you eat, what you watch, what you read, the way you move, like we are designed to move. Like you see this in, I think I mentioned this in the last episode as well, like CEOs and stuff, or even anyone for that matter, when they have a difficult decision to make, they say, I'm going to go take a walk. Because when you walk, your brain works better. When you move, your brain works better. Like, you will notice the difference in someone if they've exercised that morning or if they haven't. You will notice. But the thing is, the more I think, I can't remember who said this, but it's the more we move away from our original survival environment, the more depressed we get, because now we don't have this evolutionary pressure. And now we're going to go into men's mental health, but we don't have this evolutionary pressure anymore. We won. There's no tigers trying to kill us. There's no bears trying to kill us.
We're a victim of our own evolution, Adam.
Yeah, we've come so far that there's no need for us to be the amazing people we once were. There's no reason for us to hunt, to kill, to have masculinity. There's no one that's telling us. There's no world that's telling us now that we have to go and hunt for food. We don't. We just go to Aldi and buy fucking shitloads of it in bulk. We don't have to hunt for sugar, fat, and salt. You know what I mean? We just get that anyway. Like, I think there was a study done on tribes who were opened up to McDonald's. Have you ever seen this one? It's amazing, right? So obviously tribes that never touched McDonald's food, never touched that amount of fat and salt and sugar in one go. Excuse me. As soon as they were introduced to McDonald's, had rapid diabetes. Rapid. Because their bodies were like, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Humans are, I think, we're designed to be addicts.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be motivated to find that. That's the thing. Like, motivation back, 50,000 years or whatever it was, your motivation came from, I need to eat. I'm going to die. People I care about are going to die. Yeah. That motivated you to be fit, to run, to protect, to be those people.
It wasn't even motivation. It's just a natural symptom of the circumstances that we are living under. I think because society's become so comfortable, like you said, technology, we're not fighting off saber-toothed tigers anymore. We don't really live dangerous lives. I know some people disagree and say, well, I've been under this and I've been through this and through that. I'm like, relatively speaking, generally speaking,
most people don't live like
that. It's the safest time ever to live right now.
Yeah.
Safe ever. Even 100 years ago, think all the world wars that we're on, all the famine and the starvation, the poverty. It's safe as fuck right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But more people are depressed than ever. 200 years ago, depression wouldn't even been a thing. It would have been classed as mania or something, manic depressive, like
probably, yeah.
Which would have been trauma response at the time, and they would have lumped every single, paranoid schizophrenia,
lobotomies and
bipolar,
shit. Just
they would have
just
lumped it all manic depressive. That was it. But 1,000 years ago, depression didn't exist. Why? Because people had a reason to fight and survive, and that overrid their personal feelings. Yeah. But now humans are so comfortable, our personal feelings have more room to grow, and we become a victim of our own consciousness because we're asked questions and we go, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with this? I could have more of this. They're better than me. They're richer than me. They're prettier than me. I'm not as good as that person. 10,000 years ago, we didn't have that going through.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit. It was,
I'm going to wake up. Where's my food? I've ate. How do I survive the night?
Yeah,
how do I blockade myself from the predators and the tribes who could come in and kill me? That was it. We had an incentive to just be very baseline in our behaviours and our thoughts, and I'm not saying it was a better time to live. I'd rather live now.
Yeah, I would rather live now, yeah.
Absolutely, but what I am saying is that humans would not have had mental health issues then.
Well, this is the thing. So, obviously, when you look back at where we've came from, right, people forget where we came from, for the most part. People think we've evolved, and now that if you're born in the 21st century, you are born with this brand new brain or whatever. No, you still have the same brain you had thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. You are still a fucking animal, right? But people forget that, and they think, oh, well, we've had Facebook for 15 years. Do you know what I mean? We live in, that is reality now, is the Facebook, Instagram world of seeing all this money, these cars, this whatever. And I think, even I sometimes get sucked in. I'm like looking at Dan Bilzerian's life going, fuck. Yeah. Like, and I'm here in a cold office in South Shields. Why aren't I living like Dan Bilzerian? You know what I mean? It's like,
I think social media, we're finding out in real time. This is unprecedented times. We have no data to show what human behavior, how human behavior is affected as a result of social media, because it's happening in real time. So we've got nothing to compare it to. It's like brand new information. And I think in 100 years, we're going to be able to look back and say, that's when society took a little bit of a dip or a little bit of a change of trajectory because of this massive event. A bit like the Industrial Revolution, maybe, that changed people's complete lives. Everyone was like, not hunter-gatherers, but people farmed the land. They had like manual jobs as far as like just the land and whatever. And then all of a sudden, Industrial Revolution, now there's factories, there's textiles, there's steelworks, there's You know, the trains are being invented, cars are being invented, planes are being invented. It totally opened up the world and changed the world forever.
Yeah.
And we're still living at the back end of the Industrial Revolution. I would say we're coming up to the fourth revolution now, the technological revolution.
Yeah.
I would say we're
Mate,
approaching
fucking Skynet's going to take over. The Terminators are coming for us, man.
Well, AI is out of control right now. But yeah, you're right. You know, social media, like, it opens up the door for comparison. I seen something the other day, Adam. Apparently, we see more images now in one day than 1,000 years ago people would say in an entire lifetime. Like in terms of information, images, photos, like just images, like what would see, like information coming in.
Yeah.
We see more now scrolling our phone in one day than they did in an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
Like new images, new information, whether that be a social media post, something's writing, a photo, a web page, a Netflix program. Like, there's new images. I don't think our brains are designed for that much information.
We are not even. Have you heard of Dunbar's number?
No.
So Dunbar's number is basically the idea that we come from tribes of around 150 people.
Right, yeah.
We remember 150 names and faces. After that, we start to fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? But the good thing about when we used to live in tribes is you had someone that would entertain, right? Someone that would cook, someone that was, the leader, etc., right? Now, we're so far away from that. We could meet those people and we could see those people. We could be close to those people, and that was what we knew as reality. Now, our brains are like, well, the tribe kook is now fucking Gordon Ramsay. He's so far away from our reality, but we can see him, right? The entertainer is fucking Beyonce, so far away from what we can perceive, right? And I think part of that comes from like the gap between where we're supposed to see these people in our little tribe to where they actually are is such a gap. We can't comprehend that gap between them. They are so far above and away from where we are. Where like that's where the comparison fits in. We're just like, well, the tribe chef is Gordon Ramsay, and like I'm nowhere near Gordon Ramsay, and it's like there's such a massive gap between how we could get there. Do you know what I mean?
Because we've become so comfortable and people didn't have to fight to survive.
Yeah.
Then people's extreme talents have been allowed to like flourish freely. So that opens up the gap between like the average human and people who are like superhumans based off whatever industry they're in.
Yeah.
And that impacts our brains because, again, we're designed to be creatures of a social hierarchy, social system. We're supposed to look at the pecking order and know where we fit in. It's natural for the order of humans to live
when you
like
say
this.
the pecking order, what do you mean exactly?
Like social hierarchy.
Yeah.
Like
but
in primates right now.
Do you know why that is? And on the base level, why we have a pecking order?
Basically just for reproduction.
Exactly, 100%. But people forget that.
Yeah.
People forget that. That's why a lot of men chase money, wealth, fancy watches, Lamborghinis, because we want to get laid. Our internal wiring is like, we talked about it. I was talking about this the other day with a friend of mine. I was like saying, we don't have as much free will as we think, right? It's like, people are like, I have free will to do whatever. It's like, okay, go and eat some shit. Go and get your shit out of the toilet and eat. Oh, you can't do that? Oh, that's a shame. Go. Oh, you're a straight person? Go and be gay. It's like, you don't have that much free will. If you are wired some way, you are not going to be able to rewire that in any way.
Exactly.
It's or at least it's very, very difficult to do that.
So good pivot to the evolutionary psychology stuff. So I listened to a book about a year ago by Steve Stuart Williams, I believe. He's got a book called The Ape That Understood the Universe. Yes. And the entire summary of the book was to like kind of explain why humans are the way they are, the difference between men and women, and how we are hardwired as humans. If we were to summarize, give a synopsis of the purpose of a human being from an evolutionary standpoint, not our feelings, not how we look, not what we achieve, that's all kind of superficial bullshit that we create in our own life. The fundamental purpose of a human being is to produce offspring who are capable of having offspring. So it's basically we're grandbaby making machines. Because if we ensure the survival of our children long enough for them to have children, we've closed the life cycle. And evolution, that's all it gives a shit about. Survival. Evolution in your brain doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about, am I protecting this bag of meat in order to live long enough to be able to pass on his or her genes, guaranteeing the survival of the species. So all of our behaviors and our thoughts and our impulses and feelings are hardwired for that fact. We're constantly looking to close the gap, close the loop on this evolutionary cycle.
Yeah, we're basically looking to have as many babies as possible. Like most women don't realize that when they have like a really horny cycle or whatever, they go through a horny phase. It's like, yeah, that's just me and Sam on a Tuesday. Like, because we have 17 times more testosterone than women do. Like, we think that women obviously want to have sex, probably, I would say, just as much as men, but men, fuck me, like, if your testosterone builds up, you want to fuck like a bull.
I would disagree. I would say I don't think women are designed to have as much sex as men, because
then not, but when you say that, it's like, okay, so now we're getting into some red pill shit, right? So we'll take a second there to explain what me and Sam are going to talk about. So me and Sam are big advocates of the sort of red pill way of thinking for a lot of stuff. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the red pill is, it's basically an analogy from the Matrix. Morpheus gives Neo, he offers him the blue pill, which is he can go back to the reality he knew, where he was safe and comfortable, etc. Or he can take the red pill and basically see the truth. That's where the analogy comes from. Okay, so a lot of the things in red pill, obviously, when we say red pill, thinking it's a very umbrella term, but it's mainly just for seeing the truth, basically. Seeing things that are uncomfortable truths. Now, if you Google red pill, you will, however, come up with the word misogyny. You will come up with Rollo Tomasi. You will come up with Rush V. You will come up with Rational Male. You will see all this to do with red pill. We're not discussing that so much, but a lot of the questions are related to... a lot of the questions I have, Sam, are related to men and women and the way we think, the way people want us to think as well. Mm-hmm. And it's probably going to get us cancelled, but we're going to do it anyway, so fuck it. So here we go. So, in terms of what we were saying before, so the first thing, I took a few red pill statements, things that had been shared around, memes that I found, and things that I found interesting and want to talk about. So the first one is the topic of the soulmate, right? So a lot of people I'm waiting for the one, I want a soulmate, there's someone out there for me. So before I give you sort of my opinion on that, like, do you believe in the one? He's shaking his head. He's like, no, fuck this.
No, I've even had this conversation with my partner, who I plan on spending the rest of my life with, and I love her very much. But I think we both agree that it's more like a choice. I think love's a choice, not a feeling. Mm-hmm. I think infatuation's a feeling, Adam. And a lot of people confuse infatuation with love. Infatuation is not love. You know, Dr. John DeMartini, another psychologist / neuroscientist who I've researched deeply, he says that most people confuse love with infatuation. Yeah. And love is actually based off accepting people's downsides, accepting people's dark traits, but loving them anyway for who they are. And a lot of people can say that about love. So when we have this fantasy of the soulmate, I think that comes from the Disney movies.
100%.
And I think that's ruined people's perception of relationships. I certainly had a very deep awakening moment when I was like, yeah, I need to stop focusing on this perfection, this relationship stuff. I need to stop highlighting the flaws in my partner and saying you need to do this, you need to do that, because it doesn't fucking exist.
The thing is as well, what you say about the soulmate is like, right, okay, so everyone has someone in the world, right, that's meant to be their one. What about the people who are killed at war?
It goes
what
against,
about people who are killed in terrorist attacks?
Evolutionary biology. It goes against evolutionary science. So when I realised that, I realised it was a fantasy. It was I think the idea of monogamy and the soulmate and getting people to get married was actually done to protect society, Adam. Yeah. Because men who didn't find a mate would become very violent and resentful because they're hardwired to spread their seed.
You're also an evolutionary dead end, which is like the ultimate sin in your wiring.
So society like programs the world through movies, through Netflix, through Disney movies, through culture. The soulmate exists. You've got to get out there and find the one, and you'll spend all of your time doing that. And if you're more focused on that, you'll not be focused on revolting against the systems that are oppressing you. You'll not be focused on, critically thinking about the system in front of you, going, hang on a second, that doesn't make sense.
You will not question Jesus.
You'll not question this. That's what you've got to do. So it's kind of like the people who run societies and run the world, and they have been doing that since caveman days. People would have got together in caveman days, the ones who are more intelligent, and they create a system that rules over the less intelligent. That's what animals do. So that's been going on forever. So the people who control society now, they push this in Hollywood movies and kind of confuse people about what love actually is. Yeah. And they mainly paint infatuation. They mainly paint this like ideal relationship, like fucking Sex in the City or Friends or something, or Prince Charming, and Aladdin's going to come and sweep you off your feet in your magic carpet and show you the world.
Have you watched Friends, by the way?
Yeah,
it was so the Ross and Rachel thing, right?
That fucked my perception of relationships
didn't it?
Up.
So what she said? I think she says it's like she says something like you're such a great guy for a relationship, but just not now. And it's like basically I'm gonna go and fuck all these other alpha dudes. And then when I want to have a baby and be protected, I'm going to come back to you, Ross. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Like I said, I don't believe in this idea of a soulmate because it goes against our biology. But what I do believe, and I think this makes you the best man possible, when you can love a woman unconditionally and accept her flaws, but love her anyway, that makes you the best man possible.
Yeah, monogamy is not, I don't believe, I don't think it's it's a choice. It's not the natural state, but... It's not the natural state for humans, but it makes sense evolutionary, right? So I genuinely believe that most humans are, what's the opposite of monogamy? I've totally forgotten. It's like is it polygamy?
Polygamy?
Yeah, polygamy, I think it is. Why have I totally mind blanked on that? But basically, I believe that's how most humans live their lives, interspersed with periods of monogamy. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense, because if you have a child with someone, right, you're going to want to, like, as a caveman brain... you're going to want to keep her away from other men as well, because you want to make sure that child is yours, right? And you want to be able to raise that child so it can be useful to the tribe and stuff. So if you just spread your seed and just have kids with everyone, and then it's just like random luck if that child survives. That's not how we survived as humans. We evolved so that women would, be in this little cave giving birth to this baby. Because most women, if they didn't choose the right mate, they were fucked. They were dead, right? So it makes sense for women as well to be more picky.
That's why they are picky. That's why they go after. Apparently, 80% of women go after 20% of the men.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll hear, all men are dicks, all men are this. I'm like, yeah, because you're all picking the same. There's 80% of you women out there going after the same 20% of men.
That statistic actually comes from Tinder as well. Yeah. I don't know whether you know that. So 20% of men on Tinder are considered attractive. The rest, fuck that.
Exactly. Swipe left or right? I've been like,
I think left. I think left is known, right?
Swipe left, swipe left. Oh, I like him. Meanwhile, there's other 80% of females out there who also like him.
Yeah.
Then you wonder why he treats you like crap, because you're in the bottom 50% and you're going after. I'm just being honest. Let's be honest. Not everyone's massively attractive. Do you think the top 20% guy is going to go after someone who's also not in the top 20% of females, looks-wise? They're just not going to do it. So that's why so many women get their heart broken, get used, and I think men are good at manipulating women, especially into getting what they want.
That's why women wear makeup, because men love what they see and women love what they hear.
Yeah, exactly. So, back to that soulmate point of view, I believe that this is my stance. I think men are hardwired to spread their seed, like the scattergun. So if we want to do that, basically, because that's baby. That's what evolution is programming us to do, to ensure, because women can only give birth once in 9 months, then again, then they're limited just due to how many cycles. Men are hardwired to be able to, from the age of 13, when you start going through puberty, 12 even, from the age of 85, you can still produce a baby. So it's like the scattergun method for men, where it's the the one, let's nurture this particular, baby, this child, let's nurture it and look after it and ensure its survival for women. So that's why they're more picky. That's why we're not as picky. But I do think living that life as a man, just like not really wanting to have that emotional connection, not actually stepping up and being a leader, a nurturer, loving someone unconditionally for who they are, I don't believe that makes us the best. I don't think I would be happy if I just went, I'm going to be polygamous and I'm just going to spread my seed and I'm not going to look for a nurturing relationship. I don't think it would make me happy.
You miss out on the family side. You miss out on the nice moments where it's just you two sat watching Netflix. It's just like, it's chill. It's nice. That's the nice part.
I guess I grew up with that because that was in my family. People kind of stayed with each other, and my parents are still together. I've been together since I was 17. My grandparents have been together since I was 20, into their 80s before my granddad passed away. So I guess that's maybe society's programming of me as well. The males in my life have had a woman in their life, and they've married them, they've had children with them, they've stayed with them, no matter what. And there's definitely probably been some problems and whatnot. But I guess that's some societal programming coming off in me, and that's what I want. Because I've experienced the whole, player thing, and I've just go out with different women and sleep with different women and have 3 or 4 women on the go. Didn't make me happy. It made me insecure. It made me chase instant gratification. It made me a worse version of who I am. I feel like I'm the best version of who I am when I can give someone who I love unconditionally everything, and I see it more like stepping into that natural role of like the leader, the provider. I think that's when men become their best.
But here's the thing. That has to be a choice.
It has to be a choice because it goes against our heart. The reason men leave relationships is because that ego tells them, get out there, there's more out there, spread your seed. That's why. We have to fight that thought all of the time.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest, I have that thought. Like, I could just leave and do this and do that. It's a thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's this coming from? And I'm like, actually, it's
evolution,
my ego.
Baby.
It's my evolution and my ego trying to kick in to get me to ensure survival of the species.
Yeah. There's little baby Sams running around.
That's not deeply what I don't want. I don't think that would make me happy. So I think the whole soulmate thing, the love thing, it's a choice, it's an action. I don't believe people are destined to be with each other. No. I believe you have to work on it, and you have to have some similarities, that you both have shared values. And then you also have to accept each other's differences. And that's where relationships fail, Adam. Men don't accept women's differences. Women don't accept men's differences. And they're unconscious of the differences, and then they blame each other for how they make each other feel.
Here's the thing, right? So statistically, 70 to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. But the question is, why? So when I was thinking about this, I was like, my parents have separated. My parents separated when I was 18 and stuff. And it got me thinking back then. I've been researching this for years. I've read every fucking evolutionary book imaginable. I've read every relationship book. I've read players' books and everything. I've read fucking everything. And the one thing I've come to a conclusion of is that men need to step up and be constantly working on life and on themselves, because if they don't, their partners get disinterested.
That's why I said, mate,
they
men
get
are
fucked.
loved conditionally, women
Yeah.
are loved unconditionally.
Yeah.
When men stop being useful, especially in the eyes of their spouse, that's the women, their spouse, are hardwired to go, there must be something better out
It's
there.
called hypergamy.
It's called hypergamy. Women date across and up. Men
Yeah.
are not bothered about that.
Women on average date across or up. Men date on average equal or below.
Yeah.
That's literally how it works.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was like looking at this, like modern men probably getting weaker, I would say.
Absolutely. Society's programmed meant to be weak, and that's why men...
Do you think it's because they're being told to be more like women? Do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is quite a controversial statement.
It is, but this is the thing. A lot of men will listen to this and resonate with it, and a lot of women will listen to this and go, "No, that's not true."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's either for or against. What I'm saying is perception is everything,
Yeah.
and you will experience life and reality from your perspective as a woman, and we'll experience life and perspective as a man. And as a man, I can hand on heart say there is an agenda to demasculinize society right
100%.
now. Men are being told that they are toxic. Men are being told that they are abusive. If we even like look at a woman, like you see things online now, and I do think it's the extreme example. I think most women are absolutely not representation of this extreme example.
Yep.
But I think this extreme example, and this like feminazi, if you like, this
Yeah,
overly feminist, like, you know, opinionated, angry, resentful,
It's just anger, isn't it? It's
offended
like,
woman
whoa.
is
Yeah.
now being bombarded as like that's the standard. And I think a lot of men are scared by that and intimidated by that because we go, wow, like I don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
But why? Because then it means you don't get laid, you don't spread your
Exactly,
seed. That's
exactly.
literally it. And it's like, I was like, I've met some women who we've talked about red pill stuff, and it's just like it's impossible to understand. Like most men will never understand what it's exactly like to be a woman, and most women will not understand exactly
I
what it's
think
like
we
to be a
have to
man.
accept that, Adam.
Yeah,
It's
we do.
okay.
But the thing is, though, like each one of them seems to want the other one to understand.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if you want to break it down, you look at their exact maintenance strategies and what exactly you are wired to do. If you look at any evolutionary psychology, but anything by Dr. David Buss, everything by God Sad, you'd have to look at it and go, this is what we are.
Yeah.
We are fucking animals at the end of the day. Like, we have conscious thought, but at the end of the day, there is something running us, and we both have to not even understand, just accept the differences.
This is
accept
why-
the differences. Men and women are not the same.
Yeah, this is why women have higher standards and they tend to be picky because, let's say 10,000 years ago when they had to pick a mate who was going to be strong, who was going to guarantee the survival of their children, who was going to guarantee the survival of them, they had to pick a male who displayed, have you ever heard of the dark triad?
Mm-hmm.
Displayed those qualities, which are narcissism, psychopathy, and what is the other one? Machiavellianism. And if anyone
It's more like stoic. Yeah.
if anyone doesn't know what those traits are, well, narcissism would be like making it about you and wanting to be in control. Yeah. Machiavellianism would be like, I'm going to take what I can get and I don't give a fuck, lack an empathy. Psychopathy would also be like, you know, me, lack empathy for other people. And there's a reason women are attracted to that, because if you have a child with a man like that, his natural genes are going to kick in and say that baby and this lady is an extension of me. So now I have to protect them at all costs. And those narcissistic qualities would actually guarantee the survival of those people. So women tend to be attracted to these dark traits in men, meaning that they are very picky. They go for the bad boys. They go for the guy with the most money, the most looks, the most attractive. Like, women want men that other women want.
Yeah,
But
pre-selection.
men don't want women that other men want.
I believe they call it the mate copying strategy, I believe is the term for it. So it's basically, if you don't know what that is, basically, if you I think they did a study where they put like a picture of a man and they showed it to loads of women and they're like, is he attractive? And it was something like 40% of them were like, yeah, he's all right, kind of thing. They then took the same guy, put him with a picture of an attractive woman where she looks happy to see him and she's like holding on to him. Is this guy attractive? And it was like in the 80s, 90%. So just being around and seeing him next to an attractive woman, that made him more attractive. It's like, what the
Because
fuck?
they're looking at the woman saying, well, if she's attractive and that's who she's going for, so I want that. I want that. Because that women are hardwired to not even understand why they feel like this. It's evolution to say that's a high value man and he's going to guarantee the survival of my child, and he's going to pass on good genes.
Yeah.
That's why I say men can only be loved conditionally. That's a hard fact for men to admit.
Yeah.
Broke my heart when I realised that, because it made us realise that I'm not going to get what I deserve in this world, or what I think I deserve. I'm going to get what I am.
But you kind of, as a man, you have to take a step back from this and say, okay, that's it. I'm going to do
the way
what
it
I
is.
can. That's the way it
Don't hate
is.
the game, just play the game. That's the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Women are hardwired the way they're hardwired. We're hardwired the way we are hardwired. We can blame them and they can blame us for all we want, but that doesn't give us a happier life. We'll have a happier life when we just accept the cards that we've been dealt with, work on our self-awareness around how we are hardwired, work on our self-awareness on how women are hardwired, look to create shared values and have some similarities, and also accept each other's differences. And I think that's why relationships go the wrong way now, because people are just unconscious, they're ignorant of that. And I've got friends who blame women. They're like, oh, all women are the same, all women are psychos. And
It's
I'm
like, yeah, whatever.
Common denominator, mate, you're going for the wrong women and you're letting them walk all over you. And then you're blaming them, and then you're attracting a similar partner who does the same thing. And then on the contrary, I'll hear women say, oh, all men are dicks, all men are this. I'm like, hang on a second, common denominator. You, what kind of man are you attracting?
Exactly.
You're attracting a man based off putting scantily clad photos online and sharing photos on your Instagram. Yeah, you look very attractive, but you know what? Men look at that and go, sex. Men don't look at that and go, wifey material. They look at that as a good time and gratification. So because you're using these certain qualities, you're projecting this image, you're attracting a certain type of man who's going to use you for a certain type of way.
Yes.
And
but it also works the opposite way around as well. So there's a good phrase that's alpha fucks and beta bucks. Have you heard that one before? It basically means like, well, actually, so I heard a theory. It hasn't been studied on yet because it's still quite early, but it was basically a theory by a few women who had been on the birth control pill, right? And I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, us guys just tend to think like, oh, girl takes the pill, don't have to wear a condom, hooray, right? No, if your girlfriend's on the pill, get her off the fucking pill, because it's horrendous. It basically tricks a woman's body into thinking she's pregnant, right? Yeah. But what does that do to the hormones in the body? So the theory was that, based on a few little bits of evidence and whatnot, that when women got with a man when they were on the pill, they looked for a different type of man, a more beta, dad bod kind of man. When they got off the pill, they were like, back from, their body wasn't pregnant anymore, or thinking it was pregnant anymore, so therefore they wanted a more alpha, dominant, jacked dude. And then they were like, well, I'm not attracted to my partner anymore, because their hormones were getting fucked the whole time they were on this pill. They come off and it's like, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is my natural state. I want to go fuck some alpha dude.
Yeah, exactly. All that research is coming out now. And if we look at the timing of the feminist movement, which when it started off was real, like we'll admit as men, go back 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, men took the piss out of women.
Yeah.
Women had the shit end of the stick, and that was not right. And I think equality's reached a certain point now when it's evened itself out. Yeah. And I think feminism has become something greater than what it needed to be, and it's actually went the opposite way now, and it's quite toxic in itself. It's not a true representation of women. But anyway, if you look at the feminism movement, which started in the 60s, combined with the birth control in the 60s as well, the sexual liberation happened. Look at all the divorce rates now at the back end of that because of that. Because women's psyche and their hormones were literally altered by this birth control pill, which allowed them to have sex without the fear of consequence. But that totally changed the dating game forever.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was said before, about half an hour ago, do we think as men there is an agenda to demasculinize society? Well, there's some evidence to show you that it is. Because the men who are going to be picked by these women are beta men, are men who don't display these alpha tech.
That's why I don't believe that this dad bod thing
because they don't want masculine men to reproduce. They are trying to dumb down society to where we are void of critical thinking skills, where we are not strong enough, where we can look at the world and say, hang on a second, that's wrong. I'm going to revolt about that, or I'm going to complain about that, or I'm going to question that. They just want worker bees who are emotional people, not critical thinking people. And what masculinity represents, true masculinity, is leadership, is unconditional love, is bravery, is courage, is an authority figure who can lead people for the good of the people, not just for themselves. These are all masculine traits that I pride myself on, that I want to be. But those are alpha traits. And that's naturally what women are attracted to, by the way. But they want the breakdown of the nuclear family, if you like, is being massively pushed the last 40, 50 years. Why? Because just look at the statistics, you might be able to get them up. Children of a single parent home are massively at a statistical advantage as far as addictions, drug issues, going to prison. Like I think like 80 or 90% of the people, this was an American study, who are in jail, males, were a result of a single mother home. They didn't have dads. So like, when we're fueling all these different parts of society and the systems that are within society and the oppression and the control, which does exist, you know, you can bury your head in the sand if you want, but it does exist if you look deep. It all started from the breakdown of the family. Yeah. And the birth control and the feminist movement, which started off as a good thing, has ended up being hijacked by the powers that be and transformed into this really negative thing where we've got men who hate women, women who hate men. We've got massive amounts of children who are being born in single parent homes who are at a statistical advantage. And those children are more likely to be programmed by the state. They're more likely to be not critical thinkers. they're more likely to be depressed, they're more likely to be anxious, they're more likely to be addicts. Look at the statistics now for all these things. They're all going up in alignment. Yes, it's correlation doesn't equal causation, but there's massive similarities, massive correlations. Is it a coincidence? I don't think it is. My critical thinking brain looks at it and says, yeah, like correlation doesn't equal causation. But I'm seeing a lot of themes here that are very much linked, you know? So I definitely think men have it, I don't want to say the word harder because women have their own problems and men have their own problems. I think we'll have different problems.
I think we have different problems that are struggling to be pressed to the surface because everyone just goes, oh, it's the patriarchy. And it's like, okay, fair enough, men did rule for a long time. Like you said, women got the shit end of the stick, right? But now you look, like, I've got some statistics here, right? 73% of adults who go missing are men. 87% of those sleeping rough are men. The prison system, Forum says that men make up 95% of the prison population. 95% of the prison population. And 72% of male prisoners suffer from 2 or more mental disorders.
What's the suicide rate between men 16 to 40 as well, compared to women of the same
fucking
age?
Crazy. Like, the
Triple, quadruple the amount?
I would probably bet. Yeah, I don't have the statistic here, but I'd probably bet. Like, I mean, to go to men's mental health, I think as well, testosterone plays a big part. Low testosterone. Now, I don't know whether there's any studies on this. I haven't found any.
There's
but a personal bet, I would say that low testosterone.
The symptoms of low test is almost identical to the symptoms of depression.
It's fucking horrendous. Yeah, if you got low test, like, I think it's like we have 17 times more testosterone than women, but also we have like stupid amount less than our grandparents' generation did at our age. And it's like
it's the plastic and the chemicals,
plastic, estrogen, in the water, everything like that, loads of shit like that. But obviously, you can sort of counteract that in some way. Like, people say like leg day boosts your testosterone a lot, and I'm like, yeah, it does. Like, look at the studies. Like, doing some squats boosts your test through the fucking roof. Like, you want to fuck like a bull after you've done some deadlifts and shit, 100%. But going back to what we said earlier, the sexual freedom and stuff of men, like we are the scattergun, like you said. What each considers cheating. So cheating is a massive debate now, right? Because I would say personally, it's like women look at men, and it's like if a guy goes and bumps into his ex and they have a hug, women will tend to fly off the handle. Not all, when I say all, but right, it's like if my girlfriend came out and said to me, oh, I bumped into my ex today and we went for a coffee or whatever, I'm like, did you fuck him? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, would not faze me at all. I'm not secure in myself, and I think men should be. But it's like, for women, the cheating is in the lying or the emotional connection. For men, it's the penetration. 100%. How do you feel about that statement?
I can go both sides. I think you can look at it as a man and say, well, did you fuck him, like you said? Yes or no? That's cheating. Anything else? Whatever. As long as that didn't happen. I get that as well. And I can also understand why women value the emotional connection as well.
Yeah.
And I can understand why, being unfaithful maybe online, chatting to other women, sending photos, have flirty banter. Some women could categorize that as cheating and breaking the rules. I think it's entirely dependent on your own relationship, and I think it's healthy for you to talk about relationship boundaries and be like, what do you class as cheating? What do you not class as cheating? And I think you have to agree on that and then be respectful of each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's very nuanced, that. I don't think there's a one size fits all. I think it has to be individuals. But yes, I do know what you mean. But I think, again, a man will be hardwired, and this is where women will claim misogyny. It's not. It's evolutionary hardwiring, right? Men's job is to provide and protect for his spouse and his child to ensure survival. He's not going to let another man get in between that.
Yeah.
So that's why some women be like, oh, men are toxic and insecure. They're trying to be controlling.
Jealousy is evolutionary.
Really controlling. Like, it's a natural evolution to say, hang on, I want to guarantee the survival and the paternity of my child. I don't want another man getting anywhere near.
Yeah. You're going to be cooked. If you don't defend your woman, if you just let other men just go in, hey, there's my cave, go and see this woman that I'm trying to have a child with, and then it's like, there was no DNA test, and you could be cooked into raising another child that's not yours.
So I definitely think men are a victim of their own evolution, and an unconscious man could fly off the handle and be jealous and controlling, but you'll not understand why. So I think it's very powerful for a man to understand that evolutionary hardwiring and say, well, how do these traits come out of my emotions? And when you do get these emotions, go, right, I need to be really logical about this, because if I fly off the handle, I'm going to push them away. And that's when the controlling behaviours come out. So I'm not justifying men who are controlling. They won't even let that woman go out in clothes they don't want to do, not go to the club, whatever. I'm not really bothered about that, because to be honest, I'm attracted to, well, my partner and women in general who aren't about that life anyway. I'm attracted to very feminine women. I'm attracted to very feminine women who are very nurturing, very loving. Let me be a little bit quiet. I'm not attracted to aggressive women, loud women, women who are, put themselves out there.
Women who are more masculine.
That's basically what that's masculinity. Look at me, everyone, and I'm not attracted to that whatsoever. People who, even in the past, before I was in a long-term relationship, men have standards, right? Men have 2 categories: fuck versus I would like to get to know that person, possibly have a relationship. That's only 2 categories, or maybe the other one is.
I would even say interested. Fuck or not. I would literally say that. Like.
But even in the fuck category, there'll be fuck with that's where it ends, and fuck with that's when I think it can actually become a relationship.
Basically,
I basically had a rule like in the past: if a woman slept with me straight away, I would be like, oh, great, and buzzing. But I'd automatically be turned off from wanting a relationship with them. Because I'm like, if she's done that to me, she's done that to other men. And this is double standards. Hold me hands up.
But double standards exist.
But it's evolutionary biology.
Double standards, if men and women are different biologically, that has to be double standards.
It is double standards.
Just because like it's different for one than it is for the other, it's like, that's fine. Like
there's double standards that benefit women, and there's double standards that benefit men.
Yeah. Women are protected by society. Men don't give a fuck. We are disposable, right? Do we give a fuck? We're kind of mad about it, but there's nothing we can do.
I know.
Right? So we're going to shut the fuck up and get on with it the best we can, right? Or we're going to get depressed and be miserable and little incels.
So this is something that women need to understand. What makes women high value? So women are born with their value, meaning men value purity because it's survival. We don't want a woman who's been
run through by the entire soccer team.
I'm trying to think of how I can come across as not in the most kindest way possible, but essentially, if a man knows that woman's had a lot of sexual partners, it naturally offsets his certainty to think, will she be faithful to me, and will the child that we have actually be mine? So straight away we're turned off by that. Whereas women value men who've been experienced because they've given pleasure. Women value men who've been with other women because they know other women want them.
Yes.
And women value that because they know that for a man to be that sexually active with other women, he's high value, which means that he's probably got good genes to carry on. But it's not like that for men. So if men know, like, let's say if you can't erase your history, like your body count, you can't erase your body count. If you've slept with so many men and you've had your like whole phase, if you like you mentioned about Rachel and Ross on Friends, or not, it's not right now. You're not right for me. I'm going to go away and live my life and be free and da. You can't expect to go back to the same man later after you've been with however many men and say, all right, I want you now. It doesn't work like that because that naturally, no matter how much love we would have for the woman, in that position, if they have been ran through, if you like. I hate saying that word because it sounds misogynistic, but it just is what it is. That's just going to make us feel uncertain, and we can't turn that off as a man. The only way we'd turn that off is if we would be beta male and would go against our natural evolution and our biology for societal norms. That's why it sounds mad, but a woman who wears the pants in the relationship, it's not a high relationship.
I don't like that.
It's not, because it can't be. It naturally goes against evolution. The man's supposed to be the leader. That doesn't mean we control. It doesn't mean that whatsoever. But it means when a push comes to shove, when it comes to survival, what we see is the logical, most rational situation out of survival.
But it's also because, like, if you get these women, I don't need no man. Like, I want to be the one that wears the pants in a relationship. It's okay. If someone breaks into our fucking house, you go down with a bat. I don't want you. You're the man. It's like, oh, now suddenly with a fucking man.
War, who goes to war?
Yeah, exactly. Men. Who do you call when there's your fucking house on fire? Men.
That's men in their natural roles.
Would you as a woman, listen to this, would you want, when your house is fucking burning, your kid's stuck inside, would you want a beta male to come over and be like, I don't really know if I can go in there? Like, you want a guy who's alpha, who's gonna fucking run into those flames, grab your baby and risk his fucking life. It's just the way it is. Right, we have wiring within us. People say, "Oh, gender roles can be reversed and whatnot." I'm like, yeah, that might work for some. But the exception doesn't make the rule.
I don't think it works from a spiritual level. I think it creates a lot of uncertainty and it opens the door for a lot of symptoms and physical illness. And again, some people will portray what I've just said. There's, he's a typical man, wants to be controlling, misogynistic. I'm like, not that whatsoever.
If you don't listen to what Sam's saying here in a way where you can go away and think about it, and you just instantly are just like, oh, it's misogyny. It's like, sort your life out.
My beliefs, right? I've made a habit of this over the last few years, right? I was told in school as a 12-year-old kid I had great critical thinking skills, and I've doubled down on that. The opinions that I've got, they're not my own opinions. The opinions I've got is what the literature, the relevant literature out there shows me, and I make an informed decision based off the literature, having critically thought about it, and that's what I attach my beliefs to. So there was a YouTube comment I commented on the other day, this guy talking about the depression thing. I don't know why I commented, I was bored. It was actually a Tony Soprano video, talking about the psychology of Tony Soprano, how he's depressed, and someone commented below saying, Tony was just depressed because it ran in his family. And I just commented some of the things I've talked about, saying actually, if you go and research this post, this page, Johan Hari, he'll show you that it's down to environment. And in this moment, the guy replied back within like 30 seconds, going, no, that's absolutely bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And I took the time to reply, and I went, listen, you couldn't have possibly went out there and researched the information that I showed you to go and look at and maybe counteract your beliefs. You just commented at your preconceived notion, and you were unwilling to critically think about it. That's what people do, Adam. In society right now.
It's called the TLDR generation, too long didn't read.
Yeah. They'll hear something and it'll conflict with their current belief, and instead of going out there and going, okay, I disagree with that, but let me go and have a think and have a look and let's research it. They'll just go, no, I don't believe that, it's bullshit. And I'm sorry to say it, men do this as well, but a lot of women do that right now. They'll hear something that goes against the narrative and that can't possibly be true.
Because they lead with their feelings.
Because they lead with their feelings, whereas men are more logical. And women are supposed to be more emotional than men for very good reasons. Because they're nurturers, they're caregivers, they're life givers. Adam, women can give birth to women. We can't fucking do that. Do you know how amazing that is? A woman can create a life. There's a reason that women are supposed to be very deeply emotional because of that reason. They lay down all of the genetic hardwiring for emotions that humans have. Consciousness itself. That's amazing. That's so powerful. Men don't have to do that though. So what we do instead is we become the logic, the voice of reason, the voice of strategy, the voice of critical thinking skills. And that's a lot of arguments in my own relationship have happened as a result of this. My partner thinking emotionally, which I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying emotionally versus me logically. A lot of men listening to this will understand this. Has your partner ever came to you and they've just been ranting and venting about something and they've been unhappy about something, and you've just said, well, have you thought about doing this, and then they've went, what the fuck? How dare you? And they've like flew off the handle, and we're like, what the fuck?
The best thing for this is when, if you ever get in this stage as a man, you just say, okay,
I know, I'll learn the hard way.
Do you need me to listen, or do you need me to solve it?
It's really powerful.
And 90% of the time, I just need you to listen.
Really powerful. It really helps my relationship. And my girlfriend will call me out on it if I try and do that. And she said it many times before. And I'm like, you know what? Even though my ego, my male brain right now is like, how can you not see that there's a solution to this problem? I have to go, it's not what you need from me, and it ain't my job. And that's where men need to be very conscious of their own evolutionary programming and accept the differences. If we want women to accept the differences for us, Adam, we have to take the lead. So I fully accept the differences and the problems that men do. Men can't be too controlling because it's our fears about evolution is not always going to be the case. We can't be completely jealous of another man who even breathes next to a woman. Like, it's just not. It's not.
That's not
be that insecure.
Alpha guy would be like.
Yeah.
You don't like, unless it's another alpha dude, because alphas butt horns, right? If so, like, but for the most part, like most guys, like will like I said this. We used to have a big group that used to go out in the clubs and stuff, and I was like, watch a guy if he ever comes up to you. So this is to my girlfriends. I was like, if a guy comes up to you, talk to him normally, and eventually he'll just blow himself out. He'll just fuck himself over because he hasn't got it in him. Most guys are beta and don't have it in them to talk to a girl normally. Like, they can't just be normal. They have to go too far and blow themselves out. It's like, just watch. Yeah. Watch men's behavior in the modern day. Holy shit, it's creepy as fuck. Holy shit. I didn't actually have a question on this, but what do you think of OnlyFans?
Again, I've got two opinions. I'm like, you know what? We live in a tough world right now. Cost of living crisis. Times are hard. The fact that social media and platforms like OnlyFans have allowed a platform for people with, let's be honest, no talent, because in the modern world, in the previous world, you had to have a skill or a talent in order to become successful and make money. You can just do that off your looks right now. So I'm like, yeah, women are using what they've got, just like men use what they got as well. So I'm like, on that perspective, I'm like, whatever, go and get your bag. Like, it's your life. I'm a big freedom of choice guy, Adam. I can absolutely look at someone's choices and say, I respect their choice of freedom to do what they want to do. But I can also critically think about it and say, your choice is going to cause problems.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting into. It's the consequence.
That's my belief on OnlyFans, right? As a guy, right, if I was single right now, no matter how attractive I saw a woman, if I knew she was on OnlyFans, I'm just like, that's not going to be the mother of my children.
Yeah.
Fact. Conversation over. Yeah.
I would
So if
probably
there is
say-
women out there on OnlyFans right now and you're doing it because you're making a lot of money, you're giving you the life you want, the
And you're
freedom that you want,
attractive, yeah.
you absolutely deserve to do what you want to do. But what I am saying is you cannot expect to get to the age of 35, 40 and then go, oh, I want to settle down now and meet Mr. Right. Because that high value man that you're going to want to be attracted to is going to look at your history and say, sorry, not for me. Because men value exclusivity, Adam. Men value exclusivity. I'd take exclusivity. I'd take the feminine, nurturing, deeply emotional, nurturing side that really makes me feel like a man over a masculine but attractive woman. And women who've slept with a lot of men, sex is a spiritual exchange. It's an energy exchange. You can see the look on women's face. I can look at a woman right now on OnlyFans and whatnot. You can just see by the way they carry themselves, the voice. Even that voice becomes a little bit like more masculine, deeper.
Yeah,
Have you noticed?
yeah.
And their looks become a little bit, they have to have more plastic surgery and they have to have more makeup. And when you see them without it, there's a harshness to them. Whereas natural feminine women who are a bit more nurturing and they're more exclusive and they maybe haven't took that life, there's a glow to them. Do you know what I mean? It's mad, I can't explain. There's a glow to their skin. They look fresh, even without makeup on. They're fresh, and I'm attracted to that. I'm drawn to that. I'm not attracted to
You're attracted to a sense of youth.
women.
You're attracted to a sense of feminine and youth. And if you are masculine and like miserable, it's like, nah.
I'm sorry, being a whore is not, it's
So
not a natural thing
what
for a woman
what
to
we're
do.
saying here as well is like we're not against OnlyFans is fucking smart as shit.
I'm like,
it
hey,
is incredibly smart because sex sells, especially to men, because men value sexual variety. That's why most men watch. That's why most
Put it
men
this
watch
way,
porn.
they're only doing it because there's a market for it, and if they're not doing it, someone else would.
Someone will fill
it's
that market,
technically
exactly.
like 50% of the men out there. That's what they value. You can't hate the game. The market is telling you the reason OnlyFans is becoming so successful is because that's what the market, i.e., men, lonely men, want. So hey, who am I to judge that particular woman? But if that woman came to me and said, I disagree with what you've just said about it, I'm going to do my 10 years on OnlyFans, make millions, then I'm going to stop, then I'm going to have children and settle with the one, I'm going to be like, it's not the way it works.
There will be men out there that will be fine with
They'll
it.
not be alpha.
Yeah.
They'll be betas. Because an alpha man will not respect that. Simple as that.
Like there's guys out there who will literally film their partners having sex with another man and then be like, that's okay.
Maybe
like-
men who are also on that level where, let's say, that maybe they're a bit more sexually, I don't know, do I want to say the word perverted?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Perverse.
So
yeah,
men
you
get
could
off
do.
on that, but
Yeah,
that's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Hey, if you
Exactly.
find another man who is an alpha male and he likes you being on OnlyFans and he doesn't mind it, that's cool. But if you talk about porn stars and things like that, porn stars don't marry regular men; they marry other porn stars. So it's more like a club that you're in, and you both value it, and hey, anything goes. But a woman right now who think I'm going to go through my whole phase, sleep with as many men as I want, make loads of money, put my body out there online for everyone to see, and then I'm just going to stop doing that and then become the nurturing feminine woman who's going to raise loads of kids, and I'm going to meet Mr. Right. You're fucking deluded. You're deluded.
It's
so
very-
my
it's gonna be
opinion
very
on
difficult
OnlyFans
for you, yeah.
is do what you want to do, and who am I to judge it? I'm not judging your choices, but what I'm saying is there's consequences to your choices, and
There
what
is.
I'm talking about is based in reality, not my personal feelings. I couldn't give a shit whether you do it or not.
Yeah, same.
I just personally wouldn't go for that. I know many other men wouldn't either.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're niching your potential for a mate, the one that you want. You're niching it down so much that you could end up. Have you ever seen them videos on YouTube where it's like, women over 40 hitting the wall?
Yeah.
You seen that? That's your future. Just Google YouTube or Google it, YouTube it. Women hitting the wall over 40. Women are on there now. They are breaking their heart on TikTok, on Instagram, saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have done this. I should have been more exclusive. I shouldn't have said no to that nice guy. I ended up going for the bad lad, and I was a whore. Now I'm suffering the consequences. All the good men are taken. Yeah, all the good men are taken because they value youthful. Yeah, they value exclusivity. They value feminine." Not masculine, quiet, nurturing, emotional women who are
totally.
just nice to be around.
They'll have sex with you, but they won't make you a wife.
Exactly, they'll have sex with you for pleasure, not to make you a wife and the mother of your kids. You know, I say my woman, she's my peace. When I'm feeling so chaotic in my life, I know that I can rely on her to calm me.
The last thing you
humble
want
me.
is to come home and have to handle a relationship. It's like, what dude wants that, man?
No.
I hate these women that are like, I'm high maintenance. It's like, okay, good luck.
I'm just like,
I'm like,
no
good
matter
luck.
if you're 10 out, they could literally be a supermodel, like, you know, Pamela Anderson from back in the day, like that, literally like 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
perfection. And if she comes across as masculine and high maintenance and needy and cannot take accountability and responsibility for her own emotions, and she relies on me, I'm just like, see you later.
Yeah.
I'd rather go out with plain Jane, who's very nurturing and who I can actually have a meaningful relationship with, and we can have shared values and we respect each other. That's way more attractive to me than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I actually, we're going to wrap this up soon, but I really want to get your opinion on someone who you may have heard of, He's caused headlines all over the world. A certain Andrew Tate, who has become quite prominent in fucking everywhere, basically. Yeah. So obviously, disclaimer: if the things about Tate are true, the current sex trafficking rumors and stuff,
throw away the key. Absolutely.
Yeah, bad guy. Do not let him out, right? If it's true, right? But for you to also then discount things that he has said purely based on other factors is wrong, because a lot of what he said, not all, some of what he said is spot on truth. And there are many people, myself and Sam included, who agree with a lot of what he said. Yeah. Now, if you are going to say to me, well, Tate says men control women, men should dominate women and have control over them and not let them go to the club and stuff, I'm like, okay, I don't agree with that bit personally. Yeah, but that doesn't mean a lot of the other stuff that he said is wrong. Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example, right, just to start this off. He was on a I can't remember what show it was, but he was on like a podcast show with this woman, and they were talking about how many men get noticed, right? And he was saying that, like, if you think as a woman that, you know, there's no good men left, the good men are invisible to you. Yeah. They are the people who are stocking shelves in fucking Asda. They are the ones who are the baristas making your coffee in Starbucks, the ones that are sliding into DMs and getting nowhere, right? And it's like, most men are fucking invisible. I know, because I was one of those invisible dudes, right? Before I started working on myself and putting effort into my life, I was fucking invisible. No fucking woman DM'd me. I never got a DM for fucking years, man. No one give a shit. It was like, that's just how it is. And it sucks. Most men's reality when it comes to women sucks ass.
Apparently 50% of men historically didn't even reproduce, or it might be 60%.
Died virgins, basically, yeah. Oh, fucking crazy. If you there's a guy came on, I think it was like America's Got Talent or something, and he did a joke about Isaac Newton, I think it was, and he was like, at least I've got one up on Isaac Newton or something, because Isaac Newton died a virgin. I was like, that's funny as fuck.
60% of men historically, that's, I think, how many billions of men have been alive since time began. Didn't reproduce. What does that tell you? Women are very, very picky.
And also they men were slaves and stuff like that as well. So that's also but back to Andrew Tate as well. So I got a DM. I actually went back through my DMs and I found one from 3 years ago from an account called Emery Tate 2, right? And basically, it was this guy DM'd me. He was like, "Hey, I've seen your content. Have you heard of Andrew Tate?" And I was like, "No, I don't know who that is." And he sent me like loads of pictures. And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "You should follow this guy. He's really good." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." Got these loads of messages before. You should do this. You follow this account for. Ignored it. Right. Years later, I totally forgot even about this DM. He blew up. Right. And obviously, everyone was sharing his stuff at first. It was until people started doing a deep dive and were like cutting out 30-second clips. By the way, if your opinion on someone is based on a 30-second clip, you're a fucking moron.
That's what I've just said, Adam, before. Fucking moron. I said, if you hear something conflicting to your belief, you can hear something and go, well, that sounds controversial. Let me find the long-term thing that you said. Let me find the long conversation, because you can take anything out of context. You could take a bunch of 5-second clips out of context today. What I've said, it make me look like public enemy number one. Yeah. But if you actually listen to why I said that and how I actually went for and against, like there's many things you've asked me today, and I've got two opinions, and I've shared both, and then I've kind of met in the middle. That's what we need to do as society. And loads of things Andrew Tate said I do not agree with. Like I've mentioned about he says, because he sees himself as like a high value man, whatever, he kind of is. He's fucking worth 700 million. Yeah. He's attractive to women because of the life he can give them. So his version of monogamy is like, well, why would I do that? No king from history ever did that, and they didn't, and he's right. I personally don't agree with that. I think 99% of men shouldn't follow that. You should try and find a woman who you can raise an amazing family with, and you can have a peaceful, nurturing, powerful life where you let each other explore individually, but then also come together and create a partnership. I think that's way more beneficial for the majority of men. So I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate said. I don't agree with some of the fleeting statements he's made about women, like, oh, women are shit driver. Like, these are stereotypes. But why does he say that? Because he's a fucking businessman and he wants to get views.
Because he's a fucking genius marketer. He is one of the only people in history who has gamed every algorithm on social media. He literally blew up the internet.
So most of the things he says, he explains them in an extreme way because he knows it's going to get views. Yeah. So even his beliefs, extreme beliefs, he probably doesn't believe them to that degree.
I think he just went too far, personally. I think he went too far. Do you know what really bugged me as well? Like, this just showed how people do not lateral think and do not critical think, right? The video that he made when he started beef with Greta Thunberg. Have you seen it?
Well, she's just a shill, mate.
She's
Let's
a
look
scapegoat.
at
She's
what
just-
she is. She's an actor. She's a child actor. You're telling me when she went on the stage at 12-year-old and on this climate crisis, she formed those words.
She had loads of writers, 100%.
Of course she did. She's a puppet, man. Look who she's related to. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but she's got connections to the Rothschilds, things like that.
Yeah, but
You
like,
know who those are.
yeah, with the video, he was like, he ordered like a pizza, and it came over, and apparently, because he made this thing to Greta Thunberg, they found that the pizza was from a delivery shop in Romania, so they knew he was in his house in Romania, and that's how they got arrested him. It was Greta Thunberg. It was like, have you heard of passport fucking control?
Yeah, I know. They know where he is.
Like, did they not think to check his fucking house? If it's like, come on, man. Like, where's his fucking sense of logic?
This is my stance on that, though. Like you said at the start when you mentioned Andrew Tate, if Andrew Tate generally has done these things he's done, then he's a criminal and he needs to go to jail.
Yes.
But how fucking dangerous and tyrannical is it, for that matter, that the authorities right now can generally have no evidence and they self-admit while looking into it, we don't have any evidence because they haven't charged him. If they had evidence, they would charge him. No charges have been brought. How fucking dangerous is it when authorities can just say, we don't like you, we're going to jail you until we figure it out? And then society accepts it. How many Instagram comments have you saw underneath these posts that have a lad Bible, Andrew Tate jailed, or Andrew Tate going to prison for 30 days? And women underneath it, or even men as well. Good, throw away the key. I'm like, hang on a second. Today it's Andrew Tate. Tomorrow it's you.
Yeah.
Because that is, have you heard of the totalitarian tiptoe?
Yep.
That is how tyranny starts. Joseph Stalin in the 20s, Joseph Stalin killed 40 million of his own people to solidify his own communist party in Russia.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about Hitler as the bad guy. Hitler was nothing compared to
Stalin,
Stalin.
yeah.
Compared to Stalin, nothing. People don't even know who Joseph Stalin is. Do you know who Joseph Stalin is?
Lewis, you know,
Yeah, he knows who Joseph Stalin is. Educated lad. Most people don't know. They know Hitler or bad Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. Stalin,
Pretty bad. Just
Stalin, fucking Hitler on steroids.
Yeah.
Right? Joseph Stalin called something called the Great Terror and the Purges in the 20s, where anyone who had an opinion that wasn't kind of in line with his ideology, which is Stalinism, right? Extreme communism, right? He made up charges, made them up, and then killed them all his political opponents, the people who actually helped them rise to power. So he looked around and went, right, I don't believe with their ideology. I see them as a threat to me.
Yep.
Kill them. Well, basically, that's what tyrants do. That's just Andrew Tate situation is a microcosm of that. It's like he's saying things that's inspiring men to believe certain things that we don't like. It goes against the narrative.
Yep.
So if, like I said, if the charges are real and they're genuinely real, fair enough.
Yes.
But to say we don't like who you are, so we're going to jail you to silence you, that is how tyranny starts.
Yeah.
And Joseph Stalin is where it ends. Places like that. And that was only 80 years ago, Adam. 70 years ago. Joseph Stalin died in the 50s. That's not a long time ago. So people don't understand in this modern world, we've become so fucking immune or so clueless to the fact that tyrannical forces in this world exist and they will use these ideologies against you. And what I see there is complete tyranny. How can you charge someone or keep someone in a prison cell just because they don't like what you've said online? Where's the freedom of speech? Where's the freedom of choice?
Well, speaking of freedom of speech, did you know TikTok pre-banned Tate? He wasn't even on TikTok and they pre-banned anything to do with him. Like, I'm sorry, if he didn't violate any terms, apparently also as well, I don't know how true this is, but apparently Tate didn't violate any terms of service. The accounts who took his videos did. So his actual account did not violate the terms of service.
All the videos on TikTok were other people sharing his stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, if whatever that platform was on, if he violated their terms of service, fair enough, right? Like, if you violate TikTok's terms of service, get taken off. Fair enough, I'll get a warning, right? But TikTok pre-banned him.
Yeah.
They just didn't want anything to do with it. And then obviously, where do these payment companies like Stripe and I can't remember the name of the other one just cut off his funds?
Yeah.
Like, but it's all jumping on this bandwagon.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like the things he said, I'm not surprised. Like,
yeah,
I'm
not surprised.
The way it goes, I'm like, I totally get it, and he's as much to blame as the system, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm looking a little bit deeper to the surface level because I don't think of the Andrew Tate situation as personal about Andrew Tate. I see it as a societal thing. Today it's Andrew Tate, tomorrow it's you.
Yes.
Because that's where it starts. Imagine, have you read 1984 by George Orwell?
I haven't. No, you told me to read that.
You need to, right?
Yeah.
So this was a book written in the 40s where George Orwell, an author from England, prophesized, if you like, it's almost like a blueprint for how society's heading now, what the world would be like in 1984, right? Which is obviously came to pass, but it was a dystopian novel about the future, right? Now, there was a part of the Orwellian principles in that book called the thought police. So thought crime, right? What does that mean? So if you think something and you say something that we don't like, that's a crime. Not if you actually do the crime. Not if you actually do the crime. Yeah? So thought crime was if you just had a thought that went against the ideology.
Yeah.
Now, who's in control of the ideology now? Yeah, and does everyone agree with the ideology that's put now about the way we should be, the way we should act, the way we should live life, the lockdowns, the COVID things? Did everyone agree with that? No. But that was the ideology, that was the narrative. So if you imagine a society where I could say tomorrow, I think Richie Sunak, the Prime Minister, which I don't even know what he's about, I think he's corrupt, which if you look at it, he's pretty corrupt, the ties he's got. Yeah. Imagine a knock on your door the next day. You're now going to jail because you posted something on Facebook that we don't agree with. What crime have I committed? No, nothing. We just don't like the way you think.
Isn't it crazy though? But that genuinely, when you say that, could happen, and that's exactly. I think that's exactly
it's happening, mate. It's happening.
But you
people getting arrested for what they say on Facebook. Now I think Facebook should have some terms and conditions. If anyone's spreading hate, violence, terrorism, do it. But just to criticize. An example, if you in lockdown, if you said, I don't believe that we should be on lockdown, I think this is my stance on the COVID thing. Very real thing. We had to have a knee-jerk reaction because we didn't know what it was. But after a couple of months, we realised who was dying and we understood that it wasn't as bad as what they were making out.
Yes.
Lockdowns should not have went on for 2 years, but they did. If I posted on Facebook that I didn't agree with the lockdowns, I'd get a warning from Facebook to tell me that that's fake information.
Yeah.
That's the thought police.
Opinion.
That's the thought police in action in the modern world right now. So the reason why I say the Andrew Tate situation, it's not personal to Andrew Tate. In fact, I don't necessarily care for Andrew Tate's character. I like some of the things he said, but I don't particularly like his character. I think he's very narcissistic. I think he's a bit materialistic. And I don't think he's spreading the best message for men. Not the best. I think he's spreading a message that resonates with a lot of men that's very powerful. But I don't think his character, I think what he says is better than his character. I don't particularly like his character. But what I mean by that is, how can you demonize someone from what they said without any charges of a physical crime and actually jail them? Because if they can do it to Andrew Tate, they can do it to you.
Yeah.
And that's where it finishes. We have to, as a society, to critically think and say, even though we can not like someone, and there has to be laws and human rights law, for someone to actually be detained and put in jail, there have to be some evidence of a crime. Right now, there isn't. If they can do it to them, they can do it to anyone, and that's where I don't like it, because that's where tyranny starts, and that's where I'm against it. I don't agree with everything Andrew Tate says, but to put someone in jail with no evidence just while they're looking for it, that is dangerous, because that's what they did in Nazi Germany. To the Jews, to the gays, to black people, to gypsies. That's what they did in Stalinist Russia, to the gulags, the people who had the farms. Do you know what happened to the era of collectivization? So basically in the 20s, when Joseph Stalin came to power, communist state, all the farm owners, they were called kulaks, I believe. They were like a class of like middle class farmers who had land and resources. He said, if you don't give us your land, we're going to kill you. So the ones that didn't give them, he either killed them or sent them to the gulags, which is like the prison camps, took their land off them, and now the people had no way of making their own money, so they're totally reliant on the state. That's where tyranny goes. That's where it goes, where you don't have a free society anymore. This is how Nazi Germany started. This is how Russia started. This is what North Korea is like right now, where people are not allowed to go against the narrative. So regardless of what people say, we can absolutely demonize them and say, I disagree with you, but to jail them for their opinion, that's tyrannical, and that's so dangerous.
That's what's going to destroy us. We're going to destroy
us. That's the downfall of society.
The thing is, like, obviously, making videos and stuff like we do, when we go to make a video, we're like, can we say this? And it's like, yes, you can. Because someone's right to free speech doesn't trump your own. Like, if someone is offended
Ricky
by
Gervais quote, have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's like, how arrogant was it? Like, how arrogant are you to think you can go through life without someone disagreeing with you?
It's like the way he says it, it's like, right, this is the way life works. I'll say something, some people will like it, some people won't. It's your job whether you give a fuck about it or not.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Words can't hurt you unless you make it mean something, really.
Unless you're, like you said, unless you're inspiring hate, unless you're targeting a specific type of person, like, but the also thing is this, the virtue signaling as well, right?
That's the thing, mate. That's what I can't stand.
Getting offended on behalf of somebody else as well. Like, the recently, are you a gamer much? Do you game much or not?
Really, no.
No, so there's a big thing at the minute about this Hogwarts Legacy game, right? I know you said at the beginning, you know, fan of Hogwarts or Harry Potter or whatever, right? So do you understand the controversy?
I know exactly what you're going to say. So J.K. Rowling's made some comments on the transgender thing.
Yes, she did, yeah.
And I think 97% of women would actually agree with what J.K. Rowling said. It's a tiny minority of people who go with that agenda. You know, so to demonize J.K. Rowling, like, come on.
But like the thing is, it's you can demonize J.K. Rowling for what she said, because if she said something like that you don't like and it's, you know, hateful or whatever, fine.
Just don't buy a game. Don't buy our books.
But that's the thing. But then, like, people are saying, like, if you buy the game, you are transphobic, and that's such a stretch. Like, she had nothing to do with the development of that. She's not involved. She makes so much money. Do you think she's gonna give a shit if you boycott this game? Like, think of the other people involved, the developers who simply wanted to give you something good because of your childhood, because of Harry Potter or something like that. It's like, I'm going to buy this game and it does not make me transphobic at all.
Yeah. If we don't have our reality in our life and the rules for society, if it's not based off facts and it's just based off entirely of someone's feeling, then who controls the feeling controls the narrative.
Yeah.
Who controls the narrative, therefore controls the information.
Yeah.
Who controls the information controls society. Yeah? So when I relate it to Stalin, some people would be listening thinking, how fucking extreme are you, Sam, going from Andrew Tate to Joseph
But it
Stalin?
happens.
But that's the foundations, right? So if someone says this is the narrative and this is the information, and if you don't agree with that information, that means you are against this. Where do you get that
It's
jump
either this
from?
or this. It's like black and white.
How
That's
do you
all
get
it
that
is.
jump? I can absolutely agree and say, you know what, I don't think J.K. Rowling said anything out of order. That doesn't mean I'm a fucking transphobist and a transphobe, or I'm against this, or I'm against women, I'm against that. It just means I happen to agree with what you said. So people will hear someone's opinion, and then we live in such a polarized world, Adam, where we're divide and conquer. That's the tactics. That's what the elites use against people to control them. They've been doing it since the fucking Roman Empire. Since time began. Divide and conquer. Us versus them. Black versus white. Gay versus straight. Men versus women. Vaccine versus anti-vax. Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Labour versus Conservative.
Yeah.
Everyone's in camps, right? And you're before or against, and there's no neutral ground. So now when people can have an opinion, someone's words or an opinion can actually categorize who they are as an identity. It's called identity politics, and that's how tyranny starts. You label people into camps and into groups, and you control them based off these ideologies. Just because I can say, I agree with what J.K. Rowling said there, does that mean I'm a misogynist? I'm against women? I'm against transphobe?
For a lot of people?
For a lot of people it does, because that's how they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
They're brainwashed. Like, blanket statements become your entire identity, and that's the downfall of society right now. It's lack of critical thinking skills. People can't look at someone objectively like I've done at Andrew Tate, and when I agree with some things he says, I don't agree with everything. That doesn't mean that I'm a misogynist.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? How can
it's
you
like,
get
where
that
did this
opinion?
jump come from? Where it's like I've had this argument with so many people, and it's like, just because I like some of the stuff that Tate said, like, it doesn't matter who said it. The fact, whatever he said, right? Just take that. Doesn't matter who said it. Doesn't make it wrong, regardless of who said it. Whether it fucking Hitler said it, right? Hitler, here's a great example, right? When we did this in like year 11, World War II history, right? You look at what Hitler did for Germany. He was a fucking good leader. He was a good strategist. He was fucking intelligent dude.
Do you know why he did that? Because Germany was on its knees, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know how? This is what I'm saying about where tyranny starts, right? When you push people to the brink with inflation, with poverty, with whatever, those people become desperate, and that's where these evil people come in.
Yeah, exactly.
So from the German, how did Hitler manage to convince normal German men and women that Jews were their enemy, that the West was their enemy, that they needed to go in and invade?
Because they were rock bottom.
Because they were rock bottom and depressed, and he rose them up. He used human behavior against them to create this evil. That's what's happening right now. Yeah. Because if we can push people to the brink where we'll get them in camps and so fearful and labeling, tarring everyone with the same brush, if you have one opinion that's outside of this ideology, you're against us and you're in that camp. That's how this starts.
Yeah, but my point with Hitler is that if I can say now that Hitler, when you study him, was a great strategist who did great things for Germany. Does that mean I agree with him killing 6 million Jews? Absolutely.
He
It's the
took it
same
to
way.
the
If you study cancer, it doesn't mean you condone cancer. It just means that you get the facts straight.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I say, like I said, if I say Hitler was a great strategist and he did good things for Germany before he started killing 6 million Jews,
if
in
he
case
stopped before invading Poland,
yeah, he would have been great. He would have been a legend. He would have been a fucking legend.
The greatest
Do you know
leaders
what I mean?
ever.
Yeah, but it's
because
like, it doesn't mean just because I say he did a good thing once upon a time, it doesn't mean that I'm like a fucking
Nazi.
white supremacist Nazi. It doesn't mean that. You have to look in between the lines, and you cannot judge people by these 30-second clips. You can't judge people alone on one line. But like I said, we have this too long, didn't read the TLDR generation or whatever it is, right?
Polarization, mate. Like, look at the Trump thing, what happened in America. It's like half the people loved Trump, but half the people hated him. Look at what damage that done in America now. Polarizing characters, just like Andrew Tate as well. They are pushed by the media for a reason. I'm convinced that the social media game, even though they were banning Andrew Tate and whatnot, they did it for a reason. They wanted to drum up hate, drum up division, get people talking about them, because they love polarizing characters. Because polarizing characters put people into camps.
Yeah.
And when people are into camps, they're easier to control, divide and conquer.
Yeah. I don't even think cancel culture and stuff works. Just as a final point while we're on this off, cancel culture, right? So if you listen to, anything about cancel culture, right? And like, oh, this person should be cancelled for this or what they did or etc. etc. It's like, okay, look at how cancel culture worked. Like, so Donald Trump fucked a porn star while his wife was pregnant, still became president of the United States. Jake Paul, was it Jake or Logan Paul that went in that forest of dead people? Logan Paul. Was it Logan Paul? Like, went into this forest, filmed dead people, got cancelled, and then still became a sensation, like online and stuff, and boxing and stuff. And it's like, cancel culture doesn't like even like Jordan Belfort scammed people out of fucking millions, and then Leonardo DiCaprio played him in a movie, and now he's rich as fuck again. It's like, it doesn't really work.
How can Andrew Tate be cancelled, right, for what he said, without charges, right? But ISIS have got a blue check on Twitter.
Do they actually?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Or Al Qaeda. Who's the leaders of Afghanistan now? Al Qaeda.
I have no idea. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm gonna have to Google that shit.
Yeah. So basically, there's tyrants out there right now who are genuinely evil dictators, evil despots of these tin pot countries, right? And they're allowed to be on the internet. Mm-hmm. So is it about people who are dangerous to society, or is it about people who are dangerous to the narrative? There's a difference, mate. Because when you can critically think about it, you go, hang on a second, they're cancelled, but they're not. Mm-hmm. How dangerous are them? They're more dangerous than them, but you don't like what they say. So is the information that we're being told, it's more like a doctrine than reality. It's a narrative from the start. Mm-hmm. And everything fits this. If you look at it, it all points to the same direction, mate. It's all about dumbing people down.
Yeah.
And so, and I mentioned George Orwell before, right? The reason that George Orwell prophesied that would be in a dystopian dictatorship where everyone was controlled, in something like the thought police, where they could read people's minds and control them based off their thoughts. They didn't even have to commit a crime, so everyone was too scared to act out. Mm-hmm. They had like telescreens, he called them, that would be in everyone's home, so they'd be listening to what everyone said.
Alexa. Or phones. Yeah, phones. Basically. Yeah, so it's George,
you got it wrong slightly, but he prophesied that governments would use technology to control people.
Yeah.
That's why every tyrannical regime in the past didn't end up staying forever, because human nature is to rebel against the tyranny, and eventually we will. But no society has ever had full control over their citizens using technology until now. Until now. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's heading, and that's why I'm very skeptical and I'm a bit fearful of the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm making moves. I'll not say what I am talking about, but I'm making moves to put myself in a position financially, emotionally, spiritually, for when that big red button is pressed and maybe something like a social credit system comes in. I'm not a part of it. My stuff's elsewhere. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm ready for that. I'm aware that that's the way it's going. Because if like I say, if it can happen to Andrew Tate, it can happen to anyone. It's happening right now. The proof is in the pudding for me. Reality's showing me that the governments now, if they deem you a threat to the regime, they will stop at nothing to cancel you and ban you. Yeah. And that's why it's dangerous. That's why I say cancel culture is dangerous. I can see someone I don't agree with and go, I don't agree with them, but I don't think they should be cancelled. Yeah. Why? Because sometimes putting out these wrong opinions that are clearly wrong and dangerous, they allow people to go, I'm not going to be like them. Whereas those people
it also shows you who to listen to. I want to hear stupid people talk, so I know who to actually fucking listen to, right? It's like I don't want to be
that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like you, so I'm going to be very careful. But thank you for the information. Yeah. But it takes a secure person and a critical thinker to have that belief. Well, an insecure person would go, I don't like what they said, so we should ban them. That's an insecure person who's unwilling to even question their own preconceived notions.
Also for any form of discomfort. It's because it's a like you said, it's based on the identity, on the ego. We want to be right. We want clarity. We want to be certain, and it's like when people question it, it makes us question ourselves.
Well, what's debate supposed to be? What's critical thinking supposed to be? One side here with one opinion, another person with the complete opposite, and then their level of intellect and the ways that they can back up their arguments with facts create the narrative which you think is the most applicable.
And then people get to agree and disagree.
They agree and disagree. The sign of an emotionally mature person, Adam, is someone who can go, I don't agree with what you say, but I'm not emotionally charged by it.
Yeah.
The sign of a weak society is when people get triggered by information and opinions. And I'm not saying there's some bullshit opinions out there. There's some horrendous people online posting a lot of crap, right?
Well, it's funny. I'll give you an example, right? So when I was younger, I made a video in Australia, and I was talking about what was it? What the fuck was it? It was something about like things not to do with weapons, women, dating don'ts. I think I called it, right? Things not to do, right? And one of the things I said was, don't put a woman on a pedestal. Don't have this fantasy of how great she is, right? See for what she is, for how her life is. Don't put her on a pedestal. Don't idolize her, because A, you're gonna look like a bitch. B, it's not gonna be her, right? You're gonna get to know her, and it's not gonna be her, and she's gonna sense that needy, weird vibe off you, right? That's what I said. Loads of people, especially men, were like, "How dare you say not to make a woman feel special?" I was like, "Did I fucking say that?" Did I fucking say?
Yeah,
but then there was women in the comments who were going, actually, he's fucking spot on, because I'm sick of these guys making me out to be something amazing that I'm not, and like falling at my feet and shit. And it's like, it's creepy, it's weird, it's not normal.
Women just want to be loved and seen and heard for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think men need to step up and give them that. We need to stop trying to control them, stop trying to change them. We need to stop trying to problem solve for them. We need to be there for them. We need to be the person who can steady their ship in the storm. Mm-hmm. That's what women want from men, and I've realised it. They don't need us to control them and tell them what to believe and tell them what to think. That's being a tyrant yourself. You know, and I think men fall for that because of their own insecurities. They'll try and control women, and that's why the whole toxic masculinity thing, from a tiny minority of men who are like that, they paint all men in the bad light. And I think a lot of women are brainwashed by society to think that's how men are. They're taught to fear men. Like, oh, watch what you do and fear men. Men will do this, men will do that. I'm like, what? The majority of men are not fucking rapists and murderers.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a brother, a son, a cousin, a dad. It's so dangerous, and how tyrannical is it to tell women to fear men? How sad is that?
I had a woman on who deals with a lot of domestic abuse victims, sexual abuse, physical abuse, whatever. And we were talking, and we were like, yeah, it isn't all men, but it's like the men that do it. We were talking about why they do it and why they were desperate, and what drove someone to do it. And I was saying things like lack of options with women, lack of knowledge when it comes to women, lack of their own personal boundaries, that lack of their own control over their own life, so they have to dominate someone else's. And it's like, that is not men that other men, like, you don't have to sit down with me and be like, don't rape people. Like, my dad didn't sit down with me and be like, don't rape girls, son. It's like, fucking obviously, like, don't do it. It's like, most men know this.
Most men are good, most women are good, most people are good.
They are.
But we live in a polarized society where the extreme examples of both end are put in the media, and that causes us to it's like a form of another George Orwell concept, doublethink. So we'll have a belief about one thing, but then we'll be told another, and we're like, oh God, the way George Orwell explains it is 2 + 2 = 5. Mm-hmm. Meaning that it doesn't, but if the party tells you that it equals 5, it equals 5.
It's who screams the loudest?
Yeah, basically, it's like that's the information that we're telling you, so that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. So if they can brainwash men to be weak, to be beta, to be bitter, they will become the bogeymen for women, because a certain amount of men will behave in horrible ways and do that and take it out on women, and then that paints all men in the bad light, which puts women in a state of fear, which means that it keeps this cycle going.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And it's dangerous. 99% of women are beautiful, caring, empathetic, feminine, not nurturing women. 99% of men are strong. Men are capable of being strong.
I think they're more capable. I think if otherwise we
capable of them, just being ground down to a nub.
We'd be contradicting ourselves if we said that 99% of men are like strong and capable.
Have the potential. Have the potential.
Every man has the potential to be, and I mean, obviously, you're going to get that in any society, in any animal kingdom. You're going to get those who are beta. You're going to get those who are alpha. You're just going to get that, because people are like, well, I hate the term alpha male. It's like, alpha male doesn't mean that you go around shouting. It doesn't mean that you catcall. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you go around catcalling women out of van windows. It doesn't mean that you are really loud with your group of friends. Most of the time, it means you are stoic. You handle your emotions. You can be strong when needed. You can be soft when needed. And also, as an alpha, you have an air of the feminine about you as well. You are not just this rock hard stone. You have an air of the feminine.
Yeah, that's what causes men to be dangerous, because if men can't express their emotions in a healthy way, they'll express it in the only way they know how, which is anger and violence. Mm-hmm. So a part of an alpha male is to definitely have that, be aware of his feminine side.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing about men's mental health as well is, like, the thing that helped me was having the right kind of men around me. Obviously, you said environment, but I'm going to go one step deeper and be like, the men that I had around me were all like growing up like little bitches, basically. That had no desire to do anything. They were just like, I'm skinny, I'm weak, like, girls don't talk to me, whatever. The moment I changed that environment, and the moment I found guys who listened, who inspired, and who didn't let me get away with my bullshit, that's when I leveled up, and that's when my mental health improved.
Yeah, men need sense of community.
Strong masculine leadership. They need a role model. They need the community, the tribe. They need, like, most of us,
healthy
like,
competition maybe as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I went to a camp with. Have you heard of Elliot Hulls?
Yeah.
So I went to one of Elliot Hulls' events. Now, regardless of what you think of Elliot Halls and his like,
He's went a bit crazy these days.
he went a bit crazy. He's kind of coming back. He's
Yeah.
making a bit more sense now. He's not showing guns as much in his videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But I went and met him. He's actually a really sound dude. He's,
I
he's
agree with a
funny.
lot of things he
He's
says.
funny.
And some things I hear and I'm like, yeah, but I don't judge his character because of it. Because I'm a critical thinker.
Yeah, but we went to this event in Florida, and it was just a bunch of dudes, and we were like, every guy there wanted the best for you. You know, we would talk on the night time. We would sit around fires and shit. Like, he basically made it like old school, like tribal shit. Like, we sat around a fire, and we talked about man stuff. And do you know what? Because you were talking to the right kind of people, especially to men. Like, a lot of men open up to women, and it's like,
Shouldn't open up to women.
no, be strong for them. And fair enough, if you've had a bad day at work, have a little bit of a talk about it. But for the most part, find men to talk to, because they will give you the best advice.
Yeah, anytime I've definitely faced mental health issues over the last few years, and a couple of times, one or two occasions, I've completely broke down and like cried like a baby in front of my partner. She didn't know what to do. Do you know why? Because she's not supposed to deal with that from a man.
Yeah.
I'm
And
supposed to deal
that's
with that
another
from a
red
man.
pill truth as well. It's
It
like
is.
you
I
don't.
know now. She wants us to be emotionally available, and what I end up doing, and what a lot of men do, is bottle it up because we fear female rejection, which is what they will do when we completely unload of all our deepest, darkest emotions.
Yeah.
Females aren't designed to take on the deepest, darkest emotions of men. They're not, because they've got their own.
I think it was Rich Cooper said, women don't care about your struggles, they wait at the finish line and fuck the winners. As brutal as that sounds.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah.
My relationship with my partner's got better that I've accepted some of these uncomfortable truths.
Yeah.
So this is not this. Women will say, "Oh, I just want men to open up and be more emotional." What they mean is, I want men to validate my emotions. They don't mean I want to validate his.
I want them to listen. I don't want to listen to him being a little bitch for like 45 minutes while he cries about his job. It's like, I want him to sort his own problems
Because
and then
women
have
are
me fine.
attracted to power, attracted to leadership abilities, attracted to a man who can steady the ship in their storm. That's what we are designed to do by nature. If a man can't steady the ship in the storm, if he's a blubbering mess, he can't do it.
You'd be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, yeah, exactly.
So I think men need to open up to other men. Maybe if they want to work on that feminine side, work with a woman therapist or a psychologist to help, but not your partner.
It's being able to get in touch with your feminine side, not just being constantly in your feminine side. There's a difference. Like, if you look at someone like Russell Brand, dude's got fucking long hair. Dude looks like a woman, but
He's
like,
very, very emotionally available.
he's also very, very alpha as well.
Yeah, he is. He's
as
got
well.
the best of both. Even men are attracted to him. I don't mean in a sexual way.
Yeah, they're
I'm
just like,
attracted
fuck.
to Russell Brand because I'm like, yeah, this guy carries himself. I want to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by him because he's clearly in touch with his emotional side, and he's not scared about looking a little bit girly.
Yeah.
He is. He looks a bit girly, but he does jiu-jitsu. Yeah, he carries himself very well. He's a great public speaker. He is so intellectually intelligent.
He is. Some of the words he comes out with, I'm like, what the fuck did you just
Yeah,
say?
incredible. He's an alpha male who's in touch with his feminine side. He's not, me back in the day, full of steroids, full of bodybuilder, fake tan, six pack. I was the weakest man possible then, but I would have the portrayal of an alpha male. So looks can be deceiving. I think an alpha male and a real deep, meaningful, honest man with a lot of integrity, it's the way he carries himself. It's the energy that he brings in his actions, not his words and not the way he looks. Words and the way he looks, superficial. Actions and the way he carries himself, that's what it is. And that's what women are attracted to.
A man says what he means and means what he says. 100%.
That's what women are attracted to. And and I think we have to accept this. So I know today we've talked a lot about the men's perspective, and there might be a lot of women who listen to what we say and they don't understand it, and they might not even agree with it. They might even get offended by some of the things we said. And all I'm going to say is it's totally cool to think like that. It's totally cool to disagree with everything I've said. Another point is, like, from a woman's point of view, you'll not relate to what we've said because you're not a man and we're not a woman. So there is differences. So I'm totally okay with people saying that, Sam, I didn't agree with what you said there. Sam, I found it quite offensive. I'm actually all right with that because I'm okay.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, do not kind of just shoot at the messenger. Because what I'm saying right now, my opinions that I've got about this, I have deeply researched it.
There is science, there is books, there is, you can go and read. Sperm Wars, for example, is a great book. Why Women Have Sex. Anything by Dr. David Buss, you can go and read as well. What else is it? The Red Queen is another great book.
My opinions are formed off what the relevant literature is out there, and then I've critically thought about it. That's what my opinions are based on. My opinions are based off what I feel, not what I feel like. Even if I feel like something, I'll be like, this is what I think. Before I make it a known opinion, and before I say this is my stance, I'll research the shit out of it.
When you enter a conversation with a woman, for example, she always starts most women start sentences with "I feel." Most men start sentences with "I think," and that is the clear difference. That's where you see where each one's clarity is coming from.
Yeah, women run with feelings, men run with logic.
And it works. It builds harmony
That's the
between
yin and the
us.
yang, mate. That's the most powerful force on this planet, right? Is a woman who is fully unconditionally in love with her man, and a man who's fully unconditionally with her woman. That's when we both come, the feminine, the masculine, divine femininity and masculinity come together to create the yin and the yang. It's the ultimate polarity. That's the most unstoppable force. Everything in society now is about breaking up that force, getting men to hate women, women to hate men, getting them more and more divided, convincing them that evolutionary psychology doesn't exist and that these are the gender roles that you're supposed to have. And it's just making us go further and further apart. Divorce rates are through the roof, single parent homes are through the roof, male mental health is off the rails right now.
Yeah.
The diagnosis of, I think, women are more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety and depression, whereas males are more likely to kill themselves. Yeah, so even on both sexes, it's actually having a damaging effect on our mental health.
Yeah.
And yet we're supposed to be the most advanced technological society we've ever had. We are on paper.
We're getting smarter, but we're getting dumber.
We're getting technology's taken over, but we're getting less connected to our spiritual side, and our spiritual side, what I represent that as, is nature. I think nature is God, Adam. I don't believe there's a man in the sky who's governing everything. I believe nature is God. I believe nature is an unstoppable force. And if the big red button was to be pressed right now, let's say Vladimir Putin's having a bad day and he decides, fuck this, and the world's over, the people who survive, they'll go right back to the traditional gender roles. Right back
Guaranteed.
in the moment. Everything we've been indoctrinated with the past 50 years will be out of the window. Men will go back to being the hunter-gatherers, the leaders, the fighters. Women will go back to the nurturers, the teachers, and the carers for children.
But Sam, that's misogynistic.
Terrible.
Sam, that's misogynistic, you arsehole. How could you do that? It's like, read a fucking psychology book.
Put me in jail. The thought police, come and get us. I've got an opinion.
Read a fucking psychology book. Like, gender roles are not society-based for the most part. There are some things that you could take from society that have been, that are put on us that we kind of fit into. But for the most part, if you take men and women, you stick them on a fucking island, that's what they will naturally fall into.
Order.
Obviously, you get the odd one where you get the man who's more submissive, more feminine, and then you'll get that woman that's more butch and more like...
There's exceptions to the rules.
Yes, but the exception doesn't make the rule, and that's what people forget is like, well, I can prove this is wrong. It's like, well, yes, you can. It's falsifiable, but look at the rest of the evidence. Like you can't pick one thing because it suits your narrative and then ignore the rest. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, women tend not to like statistics though. They like personal feelings.
Oh yeah, statistics are boring and they impact feelings. It's like,
you see that all the time. It's like you can generally show them statistical proof, which is again, there's exceptions to the rules, but for generally speaking, statistics are kind of how the world needs to be run. Like this is the general, so we'll have to kind of do the general consensus of what really happens, and that's the best fairness for all. That's like democracy, isn't it? Really, women will go, but I don't agree with that, so it's wrong. It's like, well, what? I can totally disagree with something and be like, well, statistics are telling me that that's right, so I'll be like, well, I don't agree with that, but I kind of see the statistics now, so who am I to go against it?
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of women will just be like, no, that's not how I feel. I'm like, hang on a second, you're going against the statistics here. Everything we've said, if you research it, obviously we don't have the information to go, there it is in this page of this book, but it's all stuff we've read and well-versed in, information we've got off of our mentors and coaches and authors.
Facts over feelings every time.
So like I said, before we wrap it up, if anyone's heard something that we've said today that's on the edge controversial, which it was for a very good reason, because I want to get people thinking. And when you talk about the red pill stuff, Adam, that's not about being anti-women, anti-feminist, anti-this, anti-that. It's about critical thinking abilities. And when you critically think and you use evidence based off statistics and the general consensus of what's really true, based off data, it's impossible to not see the holes in the arguments.
We always like to say data over drama. Look at the data over the drama in your mind. It's just for God's sake, go and read a book, go learn some stats, and just fucking, like, people have to say, educate yourself. It's like, you fucking should.
In the last 5 years, I've changed my stance on what it really means to be a man.
Yeah.
I've changed my stance on depression. I was telling myself I was broken. There's something wrong with my brain.
Yeah.
The world's against me. I'm so unlucky. I'm cursed. These are things I used to say. I've totally changed my perception on all of those things. Do you know how I did it? Researching the shit out of things that I didn't quite understand.
And taking things on board and being like, okay, I'm willing to change. Like that is a sign of an alpha male as well. Is taking on the, like, if you are a man and you heard something today that has kind of hurt you or broke your heart a little bit, like Sam said earlier, that's okay. Take a moment to assess it. Take a moment to breathe it in. Go research it some more. Learn about it. And then make your decision whether you're going to let it affect your life or whether you're going to go, you know what, I accept this and I'm going to move on with it.
But here's one thing I can just add to that. I would absolutely love it, right? If in 5 years' time I listen to this podcast back and I disagree with what I said.
Yes.
You know why? Because that means I've fucking grown. That means I've learned more and I've been able to challenge myself and disprove some of the holes in my arguments, which they will be. Yeah, because I'm very new on my journey with all this. It's only 5 years, not a long time. In 10 years' time, if I can listen to this and be like, wow, I got a few things wrong there, I'll be so pleased.
That's fine.
Because that means
it's
I've
normal. Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if your beliefs you are right now, that's the way it is, and this is what I believe in, and I will not be told any different. You're not going to win at life because you're refusing to be wrong. You're refusing to fail. If you refuse to be wrong and refuse to fail, that means you can never grow. Which is why when we look at something and say, I don't agree with that, so I'm going to cancel you. That's fucking dangerous, not just to society, to you.
Yes.
Because that means you can never break down your current beliefs. If you can't break down your current beliefs and replace them with newer, stronger beliefs with more substance, that means you can't grow emotionally. The sign of an emotionally mature person is someone who can be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love it to be wrong about a lot of things, which I will be. But there's also some things I'm like, I'm not wrong, because that's the statistic, and until the evidence shows me otherwise, that's what I'm going to roll with.
Yeah.
You know
what
I mean?
we talked about here, 90% of this is not based around how me and Sam feel. It's based around research, what we've read, and mixed with what we've experienced to be true as well. So not just our feelings, but we've gone away and been like, does this work? Test it out. Yes, it works. Cool. This model also says this. Yep, cool, right. And the next thing we'll discuss in the next podcast is fucking flat earth or some shit like that.
But I don't agree with that.
Yeah. But listen, Sam, mate, where can people find you if they want to follow your content? Where can people find you?
Well, we haven't spoken about it much today because we kind of took a little pivot and talked about some other stuff. But yeah, my career, my business, my job is helping people understand the reasons why they overeat, and I teach people their emotional voice in their life, some strategy-based stuff about how to deal with mental health, mental illness, stress, anxiety, obviously teaching people about nutrition habits and how to eat better, and I help people lose weight in healthy, sustainable ways. So that's kind of my bread and butter. That's what I do day to day. You can find me on Instagram, Sam Gibson Limitless, on Facebook as Sam Gibson, the Emotional Eating Coach. I've also got some free resources. My free audiobook, How to Stop Binge Eating and Finally Get in Shape. That's my free book. That's had about 15,000 downloads from about 12 different countries. If you download that book, you'll be given a free copy, and that includes all of the tips, the tricks, the do's, the don'ts that I've taught my clients over the last 5 years. And I've coached about 2,000 people over the last 5 years. So that book contains all of my little tips and tricks, so that's the place to find me, and that's the place to maybe double down on your knowledge about emotional eating if you do struggle with your eating habits.
Amazing. I would highly recommend you check out Sam. I have a video for you actually in my my laptop bag, your full video from the talk. I'm going to put that up. Stick with Sam. He's got some great content, and emotional eating is something that I'm still learning about as well. I'm connecting the dots thanks to Sam as well. So please give him a follow, and also please follow this podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, please download the episode as well. Please give it a 5-star rating. If you listen on Apple Music, again, download the episode and also give it a 5-star review. None of this 4-star shit. We want 5 stars only, guys. And obviously follow me on Instagram as well at AdamJamesProud. And until the next episode, I will see you very, very soon.